And Alaska. I was in Alaska a few years back. Went to Fairbanks to pick up actually it was a murder suspect that was being extradited back. Loved Alaska. Beautiful up there. South Mississippi. Wow, you guys are incredible. And from all over the map, guys. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Victoria, Michigan. What part of Michigan, Vic? Always wanted to go ice fishing. I had a partner back in the day. He was born and raised in Michigan, and we never made that trip to do some ice fishing, but they say it's amazing. Hey, Becky, thank you. Becky in Texas. Arkansas in the house. Way to go, Southern girl. Leslie, good evening. Northern Michigan. Wow, Victoria is in Holland. Incredible. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Sandy, thank you for that. I appreciate you liking the live. Guys, if you can, drop me a heart me. I'm reading more about this app as we go further in it, and those heart me's appear to be very, very important. So if you can drop your daily, here we go, your daily heart me, guys. If you can drop that for us, I appreciate it. Cheryl, thank you so much. Hi. What's up, DP from Iowa? How are you? Guys, I want to give everybody a few more minutes. I want you to listen a little bit of this audio.
And at some point, that is when Lynette allegedly fell off the boat. Did he say anything about, like, kind of in that moment, like what he did to try and find your mom?
He said that she was floating.
Now, we'll get the show started properly, but while we let people get in, I want to play a little bit of this audio clip. This is from Lynette's daughter, and pretty shocking.
Away, so we threw a life device at her, and then he started swimming or paddling to shore. So I don't know why he didn't drop anchor and look for her. That's the first thing I would have done, is go towards her, not away from her.
This is part of our interview that we did with Hooker's stepdaughter, Carly Aylesworth. She's 28 years old. She lives in Michigan, and she has been very public. She says that she has concerns that her mom's disappearance, it wasn't an accident, like Brian has claimed. Now, Brian's attorney has said that he denies any wrongdoing in this, and he's also denying the allegations that Carly has made in interviews about him and his marriage. Like, how did he tell you that that this happened?
He called me. It was about 8:30 at night on Sunday, and he told me, "Hey, your mom's missing. It happened late last night. Uh, but we're gonna come up soon, so I hope to see you." And I was just like, okay. Like, I didn't say much because I was like, what? And then he's like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm gonna search for her, bye, and then got off the phone quick. So I don't know, it was a little sketchy. So
It was as if he was going to come back to the US and just kind of like, hey, this
yeah,
just happened. And
but whatever, let's hang out when I come see you. And I'm like, what?
Now, this is Lynette's daughter speaking. Of course, she knows a little bit about the past that this couple may have had. Everybody has little bumps in the road, right? But supposedly there were some more potholes rather than bumps in this marriage. So, of course, she's going to be, her spidey senses are up, right? But you've got to agree with her. If that phone call was accurate, as she's describing here, I mean, doesn't it make you think like, okay, what really happened here? Did she really fall over? And we're going to get into that in about 5 minutes, waiting on the gas to come on, and we're going to break this down. And but it's just bizarre as to some of the stuff this young woman's saying about her mother.
Like, I don't know, that just, it didn't sit right with me. It took him so long to even tell me that she was gone. So, and I don't know why he didn't go to his boat and call on the radio to other sailboats.
Now, if you were joining us last night, we spoke about that, right? We had myself, Rich, and Steve in here, and we were all kind of jaw jacking about this case. And I'm an avid boater. I don't want to break down in the water and not have communication, so I have some type of radio for that boat to contact the Coast Guard, what have you. But even the daughter has picked up on, why didn't he just go back to the boat and call for help? It's just like calling 911, right?
Hey, Have you seen my wife? She's missing, because I know boaters would probably go out and help look.
Not only has Carly said that she's suspicious of Brian's story of what happened to her mom, she also claimed that the hookers were not as perfect of a couple as maybe their social media made it seem.
And guys, if you don't know the case, you can go back and Google this and kind of look into it yourself. But I'm going to fast forward here for a moment. They're retired. You know, they're living the life as a retired couple, and you know they're just having a blast. And their social media. If you go to the social media pages, and it was up day before yesterday. I don't know if it's still up today, but if you go take a look at their social media, it's just a hey, Rich, good evening. It's just a snapshot of them sharing their life in their retirement age. And she covers a little bit about that, but it's just, you've got to scratch your head on this. Let's listen to one more minute of this.
But we do have this police report that documents a domestic dispute involving the hookers that happened in 2015 when they lived in Michigan. Police in Kentwood, Michigan write that they were called to the hookers' home just after 1 o'clock in the morning on February 1st, 2015. And they say that Brian Hooker claimed that he was assaulted by Lynette. He accused her of hitting him in the face multiple times. And police write that Brian was intoxicated and he had blood coming from his nose.
Rich Brown, I'm going to go to you. You've listened to a little bit of that. You just jumped on a little bit. I got on early, so you're not late. How are you, buddy?
Good. How about yourself?
Hey, man. I mean, it sounds like they lived the life of Riley. It sounds like they partook in the adult beverages during their marriage. A lot of drinking going on, it sounds like. Is that a catalyst as to what maybe led up to this man overboard, or in this case, woman overboard, wife overboard?
You know, typically, as well as I do, that can be a catalyst. If there's violence in the home, you drink, it usually comes out. The things that make you mad come to the forefront. You start fighting, and that very well could be what caused this. He may not be that type of person to do this normally, but a lot of times your apprehension on things that you normally wouldn't do goes away when you get intoxicated, super intoxicated. Maybe he didn't intend to offer, but maybe he meant to just shove her in the water.
The possibility that her client,
I
Brian
mean,
Hooker,
you've got to admit,
in-
it's just a strange set of circumstances. You know, we talked about this a little bit in depth last night, and I got to tell you, man, after getting off and started, I went to Google, started Googling stuff, found a lot of stuff online in terms of some social media posts, and you know, if you looked at this couple from the outside, we had no clue about this Bahamas missing case. You would say, wow, congratulations on your work life and congratulations now on your new retirement adventure, because it was an adventure every day with this couple. And of course, you know, they love sailing. So ergo, we spoke about this last night, Rich, they were avid outdoorsmen, avid boaters. I just don't see anyone panicking and paddling and getting to the police station at 4 a.m. to say, hey, my wife is missing.
There's a reason why they're keeping him extra long. They're trying to put a case together on him. Now, again, I said this last night, his attorney should actually not only zip his lips, but put a lock on the end of it. Letting him talk so much is mind-boggling to me. You can only get yourself in trouble.
It's more than mind-boggling. It's like, you know, here's the other thing. It doesn't matter what country you're in. I mean, we all know that different countries have different laws and different procedures, but the Bahamas is not like you're over in Pakistan or Saudi or any of the Middle Eastern countries where they cut your fingers off for stealing, right? They have a zero tolerance for crime. The Bahamas have a pretty well structured judicial system to where they have to have probable cause. So, I mean, it's a little bit different here. They haven't arrested him, but they have detained him based on probable cause, Rich. They've got to be something that has shown them, whether it's something on the boat. You brought that up last night. You know, what did the boat look like? Did they have an argument
Well,
prior going out to the dinghy, or the evidence in the boat that led them to getting probable cause to believe that he may have committed this crime?
when he fell out of their boat, when they had him handcuffed, and he did have a life vest on, but when he fell out of their boat, they were actually going to the bigger boat to search it. And so I think during that search, maybe they found some trace blood evidence or something to that effect, or broken items. Maybe they found something like that, and that's why they decided to hold him longer. They said, from what I gather, they're going to charge him.
Well, his attorney is very matter of fact about that. The rule is they could hold you up to 46 hours. But, the attorney said they're certainly going to, Monday, petition the court for, I think, an additional 96 hours extension in that detainment. So certainly doesn't look good for Mr. Hooker.
Yeah, and I understood they couldn't go farther, but maybe they're actually they're gonna charge him with something just to be able to do that, maybe.
No, I agree with you. I'm trying to get Rick up on here. Stand by.
I've got some more info on our other case too, by the way.
Which case, while we're waiting for Rick to get on?
The general. We keep saying that there's 8 people or whatever. I actually got a message from one of our viewers who informed me there is actually 11 people, not including the general, that are either missing or unalived.
11 people?
11. And that's not including, if you add the general in there, it's 12. And it's 6 and 6. 6 are unalived, 6 are missing, I believe. I have their names. I was shocked.
Tell me more. Do we know what they did in terms of how they were associated with the general? I mean, did they work on the same projects?
They were all involved in the scientific community, involved in the same thing that he was doing.
That's amazing.
I was very surprised on that one. I'm going to actually do research on each individual person. I actually Googled one of them, and they said he was a scientist. I believe he was one of the missing people, and he was out in New Mexico. I was surprised. And then some of them, this will freak you out a little bit, some of them are like days apart. That's not accidental.
Now, did they go missing prior to the general, or have they been missing since? Do we have it both ways? Where do we stand?
All different times. I'm not sure the exact dates yet, but let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, Southern Girl says that they were all before the general went missing. So that's concerning.
Strange. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, I actually have the dates here. I don't have the date the general was missing because he's actually not on this list, but these other people are. And I'm trying to see what the earliest date is.
Hey, Sarah, welcome. Yeah, we're waiting for Rick, guys. So give us just a few minutes. We're going to chat about the general case. I find this 11 missing people. Now, is that 11 including the general, Rich, or is that 11 plus the general?
No, it's 12 with the general. And the very first one was unalived on, believe it or not, July 4th, 2024. That's more than we thought, and that is way more than a coincidence.
No, that makes zero sense to me. I mean, think about that. Do we really believe in coincidences?
No.
I mean, I could see if 11 or 12 people went missing from like the Walmart Corporation or the HEB Corporation out in Texas. There are many stores. There's tons of Walmart. I could see 11 or 12 people missing in that time frame. But nah, that doesn't track well. Do we know what they were assigned and their duties were?
No, that's why I said I want to research each one of these names, because I just saw them. And I want to research each one of them just to try to figure out exactly how they correlate with each other.
That's just freaking incredible to me.
Yeah, incredible. I was very surprised. I mean, I was surprised at 8.
Hey, Rick, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And your camera still will not work.
Let's try it again.
Or
Let's see what
maybe
happens.
Maybe it does, Rich. Maybe he's in an awkward position. He
3-day.
didn't want to use his camera.
Well, let's give it a shot.
Guys, welcome in. Thank you for your patience, and we'll get this thing cranking here just in about 5 minutes. We're going to kind of chop it up with Rick a little bit before we dive into this Brian Hooker case. Man, this case is just mind-blowing. It's just I don't understand it, Rich. A lot of circumstantial evidence.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way they'll go sometimes too, though.
Guys, if you're in here, be sure to give Rich and Rick a follow, please. Rick is fairly new to the TikTok platform. Rick, by the way, I'm trying to run for president of TikTok. Do I have your vote?
Sure, why not?
Oh, that's sad.
I don't know
Can
why
you have
this
people cheer
stupid
me?
camera doesn't work.
Have you been on 3 times?
Oh, yeah, I've been on 3 or 4 times, 5 times.
It should work.
I know.
Weird.
We definitely, Ricky, need to do a test and play with that thing rather than me calling you 30 minutes before. Hey, Rich, this is what I did. I text him. I'm like, hey, can you get on? He's like, well, of course. But he had like a 30-minute window.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm sure people don't want to see my face either, so. But unfortunately, you're stuck with it.
I hear you.
They're saying check the settings, Rick. I don't know if you want to do all that right now. It's a lot of stress and pressure. It's up to you. If you do, we'll wait for 5 minutes. We don't have a problem. And I know that the group doesn't have a problem either.
Yeah, let him try to work on it and see if he can come up.
So, I mean, put all that information, Rich, in that Telegram chat for the general case. It's set up in there. There's a lot of stuff that's been put in. I just, it floors me that we in this community we're connecting the dots, right? It's not a coincidence. It's suspicious. Remember, we don't do the coincidence thing. We put our common sense hat on, and it's suspicious. The mainstream media, crickets, nothing. That's concerning, Rich Brown.
Yep, absolutely, because you usually can't keep the media to stay quiet long enough for you to get your footing in an investigation.
Hey, Isabel, welcome into the live. Thank you, Isabel.
And I want to give credit to Jamie from Nashville. That's who sent me that information.
Oh, wonderful. That is absolutely amazing.
Can you do that for me just once, just so I can hear that?
What would you like?
I don't know. Just say, Rich, you're a good investigator.
Rich, you're a great investigator. Here.
You guys, now you see what we do on our free time.
You gotta have fun. I mean, this is a serious thing, but you gotta have fun. Hey, DP, welcome. Thank you for that clap. Amelia, thank you. Welcome in, guys. If you haven't, please drop your daily heartme's. That helps put the live out to the FYP, and it helps. I'm hearing it helps protect the live. So I don't know exactly what that means. What's up, my brother? Hell yeah, how are you? Isabel, thank you. She says we're the best. I'm running for TikTok president, Rich. I don't know about you.
I'd like to be your vice president then.
Well, maybe we can work something out for that. All right, I think Rick is probably he's back.
Yeah, we're going to have to play with it at some point because it says my camera's on in my settings, but then when you go to click it on,
I can help you.
What?
It's saved.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow, that's what works.
You know, Rick, you popped in there like Flash Gordon. It was like, boom, you were back. I'm like, he's back.
Yeah, it shows me the camera, but then there's a line through it. Then I go into the other settings.
All right, Rick, when the line's through it and you press the camera picture, it doesn't. You don't see yourself live in just a square off to the side?
Nope.
Wow, they still have him blocked off
It's weird.
Rick, I'll call you tomorrow, and I promise we'll figure it out.
Okay.
And if not, we have some great people on this channel that can help us figure it out. So we'll get
That's
it figured
what we
out.
need.
I'm
We got any
not the-
teenagers that can help us out?
I was going to say, get a 12-year-old kid, and I guarantee they can have you. Yeah, 9, right?
Probably six.
Yeah, exactly.
Rick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Other than your camera not working, we'll get that fixed. I think if I could put maybe a meme on there, I would put a picture of Rick, but I don't think I can do that. So hopefully you guys will see Rick in the next day or two. Ricky, you've been following this case out of the Bahamas.
A little bit.
I want to play, before you got on, we played a little bit, the daughter of Lynette Hooker. Obviously, she's up in arms. The stepfather called her, and pretty much a nonchalant attitude. Said he was going to try to find her, blah, blah, blah.
I heard the call.
Let's listen to the lawyer, and I want you to chime in.
That is what police, you say, are focused on right now in their investigation. Have you been presented any evidence at this point to suggest they have proof to back that possibility up?
No, I've not been provided with any evidence. At this point, we still don't know where she is. So I'm not sure how they arrived at that line of questioning, but I am hopeful at this stage.
And when Brian Hooker hears that possibility being presented to him, what is his reaction to that?
Oh, he was pretty upset and emotional. At one point, he even broke down into tears.
And it's important to note, you have said your client denies the allegations that have been brought forth against him so far. We are coming up, you say, on the end of a 48-hour window this evening, at which point authorities either have to charge him or release him or ask for an extension. At this point, what do you think the likelihood is that Brian Hooker is walking out of this jail tonight?
From a legal perspective, my opinion is that he should walk. I don't know what their superiors will decide.
She's a good defense lawyer, right?
But based on what we have heard so far, there doesn't appear to be any independent evidence. They have not appeared to locate her, so I'm not sure what basis they would have for charging him.
And if they request that extension and they're granted that extension, well, first of all, how likely is it they get that extension approved?
It's usually a matter of routine once they say that they need an extension for investigation.
So if that happens, what is the earliest that we would potentially see you and Mr. Hooker in a courtroom trying to get him released?
On Monday.
On Monday.
That is the earliest date.
Okay, so and at this point, that is your expectation that we're looking at a Monday court date?
My expectation is that he'll be released. But worst case scenario, Monday for court, yes.
And again, just Sam, to reiterate, police, according to Ms. Butler here, saying that Brian Hooker is being looked into for possibly, quote, causing harm, which resulted in the death of Lynette. Just to go back, let's break down the legalese of that.
Right.
That could mean any number of things. That's not pointing to one specific potential charge.
I think they're looking more along the line of murder. But if you're looking for murder, you need to have the intent and you need to show the act that caused it. And so I'm still waiting to see where they can provide that sort of evidence.
So, Rick, it goes on and on and on, just kind of other different questions. But first question, Rick, have you worked any cases outside of the country during your tenure?
Yes.
How does that work? You have a U.S. citizen that is missing, presumed to be unalive, potentially murdered. Are the Bahamian police going to cooperate? What's your experience say?
Well, one of the cases that I had was the guy killed the party in Florida and then immediately ran to India. So he ended up being arrested on our warrant because we have basically a mutual aid agreement since dating back to like 1928 or 29, specifically with India. So that was helpful to us. And then, he fought to be extradited back to the state, but he ended up losing that battle, and then the State Department and the U.S. Marshals and all that got involved, and then they brought him back here. But Bahama, I think we have an agreement with the Bahamas as well.
I mean, we're pretty close to the Bahamas. I mean, we always, the trade is good, the tourism is good. You would think we had a treaty with them that would kind of like be the mutual aid between the Bahamians and the FBI in particular. Because
Right.
Rick, who would respond to the Bahamas if they would invite law enforcement, FBI?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing for the Bahamian police. I don't know, their technology is a little off. I mean, it's kind of like they get secondhand equipment. Their budget's not great. I looked a little bit at it today. But their crime lab appears to be pretty above board.
Right.
So, Rick, here's the deal. Do you buy this guy's story? You get assigned to this case. I mean, what are you looking for? What are the first 3 or 4 steps you go after to try to pin down, whether it's statements, evidence, crime scene? How does that work in a case where you have a missing wife with presumably domestic violence in the past in the marriage, potentially a lot of drinking in the marriage? Where do you go with that?
Well, I want to see if any of that domestic violence is documented, number one. I want to see what the modus operandi was when it was reported, if it's reported. If it's just coming from the family that there was domestic violence, I mean, you can't prove any of it. It's hearsay at that point. I'd like to be over there to look at that boat. I'd like to take a real good look at it and see if there's anything. You know, I can't understand what evidence they used to arrest him. I mean, it sounds like reasonable suspicion. I want to see what they elevated it to probable cause to put him into custody for whatever reason. Unless they've got some kind of a thing where they can hold people for a certain amount of time while they continue to investigate to generate probable cause. You know, it may be totally different than it is here in the States, to where, you know, they've got the reasonable suspicion you're the last person to see him alive. You know, we're going to do what they, you know, like they used to call a coroner's inquiry, where they're going to look for, you know, whatever evidence they can and hope it sticks, and then actually charge that person once they find the probable cause. Because I think they're working pretty much off under English law. So
exactly, that is correct. I do understand, Rick, that Rich and I talked about it last night. They can initially hold. Now, he hasn't been charged. He's only detained.
Right.
Their words, not ours, but they can detain you up to 46 hours. And then if there's another interview his defense lawyer did the same day, where she went into that a little bit, that she's now anticipating them, being the government, going back and petitioning the court Monday to get an additional 96-hour extension. So
yeah, they'll probably get it.
A little different than here, right?
A lot different than here. But and they may get it. If depending on what they have, you know, I'm sure they've talked to the family, and hopefully, if there is allegations of domestic violence, they're in contact with the FBI, who's in contact with the local agencies that were involved in those domestic violence cases. And I think at one point, did I hear they were going to get divorced or something, and then they rehabilitated their marriage, and this was, you know, I guess to keep the marriage in bloom or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I had heard that, Rick, but if you go, they have this amazing, incredible life on social media. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors, right? We have seen that. But, you know, looking at that social media account, you're like, dang, man, that's the retirement I want to have. You know, if you like sailing boats. Mm-hmm. They were avid outdoors. They were taking trips. They were sailing. But obviously they had some type of skeletons in the closet, hence the marriage and then rehabilitating the marriage. So, I mean, but as an investigator, do you look at all of that as circumstantial evidence? How does that come into your investigation?
Well, it's circumstantial at that point until you've got anything that you can prove. I mean, you've got the social media and everything, and I've seen some of the social media photos, and it looks like, you know, they're just having the time of their lives. But then you got to think about it. You know, there are 2 people living in a sailboat, you know, and they're sailing around, and you got to really be really close with that person, you know, if you're going to be that far offshore, and if there's alcohol involved and all kinds of stupid stuff. You know, it could be, when I first heard it, I'm like, okay, she's riding in the little dinghy. with the outboard on it, and she's the person wearing the kill switch. So that if she goes overboard, the engine quits. Why isn't the guy that's driving the boat? Why isn't he wearing the kill switch?
Okay, stop, Rick. You just touched on something we tried to put together last night, but you just explained it. Rich, that's why he's the greatest. He's the best thing since sliced bread. Did you hear what he said about the kill switch?
Yeah, why
Okay.
did she have it? And that's what we were talking about last night, Rick.
But-
and the other thing is, go ahead.
It doesn't necessarily, Rich, mean the key, the ignition key. It could have been the
No.
dead man kill switch, right, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, all it is a little. It's a little plug that goes in the outboard, and it's got a little lanyard on it. And usually, if you're wearing a PFD, it's like a jet ski. I mean, if you're wearing the lanyard, and if you fall off the jet ski, the jet ski stops so it doesn't run over you.
Yeah, I used to have a couple of them.
Me too.
Came in handy.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, listen, the domestic violence that happened in their marriage, as far as I understand, happened in 2015.
Yeah.
And she got arrested, not him.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, see, the family's saying there's all this domestic violence, and if she's the perpetrator, okay, did she, I still think there's probably alcohol involved in this, and they probably got into a, I don't want to leave the bar. No, we're leaving the bar. I don't want to leave the bar. Blah, blah, blah. You were looking at this girl. It could be any number of things.
Yeah, and just for the record, as you were, it says in the chat that the United States Coast Guard has their own criminal investigations unit there, which I think is a huge plus in this case.
Right.
But of course, the rural Bahama Police is in charge of it. So I'm glad the U.S. Coast Guard is there on the ground.
Right.
Gives
Well,
you some confidence.
the Coast Guard helps over there a lot, with searches of just lost boaters and stuff, because we've got the ability to do it. We've got the aircraft to do it.
And supposedly she was only 1,000 yards from shore when this happened. Remember, we were talking last night whether was she 2.5 miles out or whatever. I read that she was 1,000 yards from shore.
And from the maps that I saw, that area, I don't know that. I mean, it kind of looks like flats. It doesn't look like a deep water area. It looks like a flats area, which I mean, you get out there that far out into the ocean. I mean, when you're looking at an aerial map and it looks like it's all sand bottom, I mean, you could be 40 feet of sand bottom, or more.
I will say, I worked 2 cases over there, we talked about last night, but I was actually in Marsh Harbor. We flew in on a little puddle jumper. There is no swift current that I saw that would be 1,000 yards off the shoreline. I mean, it's if anything, the tide's going to bring you in to inshore, but it's not like it's going to take you out in the ocean.
Yeah, I don't think you're into the Gulf Stream at that point.
Correct.
So,
you're too far inland.
Yeah, you're too far inland. So, and I guess, the rumor is that he threw her some sort of a PFD, whether it was a PFD or, personal flotation device, if nobody knows what the PFD is, or, on boats like that, and you might just have a small floating pillow thing,
And Rick, chime in, Rich, if I'm forgetting anything. Rick wasn't here last night, so I'm trying to catch him up. But we spoke about Lynette she was classified or suggested she was pretty athletic. She was very active, right?
Mm-hmm.
DP in the chat says that Lynette's mother said she was a very good swimmer. But if you're drinking some Jack Daniels or some of that after hours beverage, guys, I mean, that could really hurt your swimming abilities. Am I correct, guys?
Yeah, or they tried some Bahamian Ganji or something.
Ganji.
Any number of things. I think they're going to have an uphill battle. They may get their 96-hour extension, but unless they've got any kind of physical evidence to support something, if they've gotten scrape marks of DNA under her fingernails that lead to believe that there was some kind of a physical altercation. Is there any blood on that boat? Who knows? I mean,
That's my thing. I bet you we're going to find out that they found some blood or some type of evidence on that boat that's going to push them to try to charge him.
Right. Because I mean, at this point, you know, if you got a perfectly clean scene, more or less, of a boat, and you're saying, you know, where were they coming from? I mean, were they coming from a bar at a marina and headed back to their boat? Were they someplace where there's video cameras where you can see how they were acting? And was there a some kind of a domestic event that occurred at this bar or restaurant where it was decided either they were told to leave or, you know, one party in there said, no, we got to get out of here. Let's go.
Yeah, and someone in the chat, I think it was As You Were, says that there were supposedly some unaccounted for hours that are missing in that timeline. And by the way, he didn't go to the police until 4 a.m.
Right.
So he's allegedly spent several hours paddling. Rick, you're a boater,
Right.
God forbid your wife, your brother, your cousin falls overboard in a motorboat. Now, we're not talking a dinghy with a
Right.
small outboard kicker. We're talking a motorboat. Pretty good chance you can spin that thing around, and at least when allegedly he threw a throwable, but why can't you spin the boat around? And now you're in a dinghy. It's a little bit easier to swing that dinghy around. It's not as long.
It's an 8-foot dinghy. I mean,
It's an 8-foot boat.
Right. I mean, and it's. I mean, you're that, you know, relatively close to shore, and you know, who knows? You know, I don't know. I guess they didn't have a phone with them or something. But it looks like you're in an area where there's lots of other boats probably moored around you and start, you know, screaming for help.
Let's test Rick on this one since we did Steve last night. Rick, if you're on a little dinghy with your wife and she falls overboard, what are you going to do?
I'm going overboard too.
See, it's not just us. It's not just Steve. You said
Yeah.
the same exact things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going overboard, and I'm whatever I've got, you know, to try to keep both of us afloat's going with me.
Yep.
I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. According to As You Were, the weather conditions could have been rough, possibly. I haven't personally checked the forecast for that, but even though if it's rough, I mean, you're 1,000 feet from shore. You're not going to be in like the heavy surf. As we all see those waves coming crashing in. Am I correct, guys? I mean, it should be.
Well, there's no surf there.
No.
It's like the Gulf. I mean, it's like the Gulf.
Yeah.
I mean,
Supposedly you were in between the islands too. You were in between this K and this K. So you got land on this side, land on this side. You're in the middle. It shouldn't be that rough.
right. And I mean, unless she, you know, fell on top of a shark, you know, and
It could happen.
you know, that could happen. There's plenty of sharks over there. I mean, it could be any number of things. I mean, it's kind of, to me, it's kind of soon. You know, there's things that don't quite match up, but it's probably a little too soon to adjudicate it and say, okay, there's guilt here.
I just had another idea too. Okay, he said she got away from him super, super fast. And the waters were rough, by the way, from what I've read about this case. But he said she got away from him super fast. We were talking last night. All you have to do is yell, hey, I'm over here. I'm over here.
Right.
You're paddling, right? Isn't that boat going to go in the same direction as she's going?
It should.
Especially if you're paddling and assisting the current going towards her, would not you be able to catch up to her probably faster than she will float away?
Well, wait a minute. Hold on, guys. Vicky in the chat says that they were 6-foot waves. I haven't confirmed that, but Vicky says there were waves around 6 foot that night.
If they're that high, it's pretty. If it's that high, I think it was probably pretty shallow water. I think for it to be that high, and you know, 6-foot wave is going to come in with a storm.
Yeah.
Out in open sea. But a 6-foot wave, you know, is not unusual. I mean, we'd see 6-foot waves in Cocoa Beach, and everybody survives that. So,
Well, here's my point. We've lived on the beach now for about 6 years, and I think we've experienced somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 or 5 drownings,
Right.
both underage and adults over that 6-year period. They're not swimming out 1,000 yards, right?
Right.
They're in the surf where it's 4 to 6 feet waves. And what happens to that body, to the bodies, Rick, if you're in that shallow, we're going to call it shallow water because it's shallow water, right? But
Right.
if you're in a 6-foot wave condition, those waves are crashing towards the coast or the inland. Where's the body going?
Inland.
Inland. Where's her body?
Right. Well,
So did
unless
this occur somewhere else?
Well, unless a critter got her, shark got her.
A shark. A shark.
A shark. And they have all of those shark tours and stuff that they do out there, and I don't know, maybe when she threw over, instead of a PFD, he threw some chum.
Oh Lord. That is absolutely crazy too.
Yeah, but you never know.
And the other thing, if you're 1,000 yards, depending
And
on
if
the
they're
moon,
both drunk and she falls overboard or jumps overboard, if she's got the engine lead on her, and she jumps overboard and says, "Now you've got to paddle home," and he's like, "Okay, well I'll paddle home. You got to swim." And it could have went that route. Who knows?
and they just went opposite directions.
And they just went opposite directions. Exactly. All right, you want to get in the water? Swim back to the boat.
That's funny you said that. We were talking about it last night. I don't know how many, I have countless calls when I was in uniform patrol, and Rich and I both agreed to this, Rick, that you always got that call where the husband or the wife or the boyfriend or the girlfriend says, stop the car, I'm getting out and walking.
Right.
And they do. They'll get out and walk, right? You see the
Right.
husband doing like left-hand turns. Come on, honey, please get back in. I'm walking home.
Right.
I mean, that could have happened in this case. It's very plausible.
Well, yeah. Well, and she could have, jumped out and swam and had a medical episode too. I think you were on scene with us over there off of University, where the guy was doing burglaries, and tried to swim across the lake and made it halfway before he drowned.
Ran out of gas.
Ran out of gas.
I mean, it happens. So, next topic. I've had a couple of people message me today we were talking about it last night. I mean, can they actually charge this husband, Rick, with homicide with no body? That was a big question I had today from a lot of the viewers.
Well, usually, if you're going to charge a homicide with no body, you got to have other circumstances that support that. At one point, like a whole lot of blood in the boat, to support that this person would have died. Just we don't have the body, and a medical examiner would have to certify that. But then again, we're dealing with the Bahamas, so who knows?
And the chat's very on fire, very smart people. I mean, a couple of people suggested, well, maybe she didn't even get into the dinghy. Maybe this occurred once they got back. Rich, I think you alluded to that last night, and she never was in the dinghy. It was a setup.
Yeah, it's possible. And then he used the dinghy as his alibi. Got rid of the lanyard for the engine, and used that to set up his alibi to go camp out on an island till the wee hours of the morning.
Everybody goes that direction because that's the narrative he threw out there.
Right.
Kind of like Jose Baez in his first statement in court.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
got everybody going that direction.
Yeah.
Genius move.
Exactly. I mean, it's who knows? I mean, it could be any number of things.
Yep.
I mean, hopefully, if they've gotten the reasonable suspicion to place him into custody, who's to say they didn't go on to the 40-foot sailboat, and they found evidence of a struggle, or they found blood evidence on the boat, or they found something that takes his narrative of being on the dinghy and makes that inaccurate.
Yep. That's what I think. It's still going to be hard to prosecute this case.
And then the other question, Rick. I mean, the phone call to the daughter. I just don't. Hey, I'm gonna. It's kind of like nonchalant, right? But I'm gonna look for her.
Right.
I mean, why didn't he call the Coast Guard or the police? Hey, I'm in trouble. She's overboard. But no,
Right.
he paddled to shore and got to the police department at 4 a.m. It just doesn't track well. The
No, it
optics are bad.
And that leads me to believe that one or both parties were inebriated beyond their normal faculties. And then he's trying to soft pedal. That's the standard. That's the standard response when something like this happens. It's just this grievous accident that occurred, and I did all my best to try to find my beloved wife, and the only thing I could do was get to this island, and I just got here now. I mean, how many times have we heard that one?
Anyone know if he had insurance? I'm sure he did, because just the way they lived with a huge yacht. Does anyone know if he had insurance policies on her, life insurance policies? And if so, how much?
And who are the beneficiaries?
Yeah, I think, well, I was assuming Florida. I don't know why, but the spouse would be the beneficiary.
Yeah. Well, unless you got some kind of a
He
trust
also,
setup.
Rick and Rich, he also, and I don't have the audio to play here for the live, but they were a text message sent to one of his friends. And the message was somewhat weird.
Mm.
So
I didn't hear that. What was that?
I didn't play it all. Somebody had sent it to me about 2 minutes before we came on, but I maybe I'll try to find it here in a minute and play it. Someone was reading what the message said, but supposedly the message was
Well,
very
what's
strange.
this that Vicky just said about him texting his friends about sailboats after the incident? What's that all about?
That may be exactly what they were talking about.
Which he's talking about sailboats, texting his friends after the incident.
That's
what here?
Hey,
Here's
Rick,
Vicky on there.
Rick, I just brought her up. Hey, Vicky, welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
Where are you from?
North Carolina.
Welcome. We love North Carolina, Vicky. Fill us in on this text message with a friend.
He was texting his friend. I just read this like an hour ago on Fox News, and they said he was really weird talking, and that he just started talking about sailboats, and he, out of the blue. I mean, who's going to do that? And your wife hadn't even been found.
No, he's talking about talking about sailboats, and then by the way.
But they said the whole message was weird, and her daughter don't believe it at all.
Yeah, we
She's
played
not
the clip
buying
of the
it.
daughter, Vic. I don't know if you heard that or not, but she's absolutely not buying what he's putting down.
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
So
Yeah.
Vicky, let us ask you, what's your opinion? What's your theory?
I'm not so sure she was on the boat.
I like that.
Supposedly his paddle broke. I don't know if you guys heard this or not. But
He only had one paddle.
Yeah, supposedly his paddle broke. Also, something malfunctioned with his flare gun. Supposedly, it's the article I read. There was a slew of just coincidences that played out to his disadvantage.
I'm surprised he didn't pull the old "my dog ate my homework" thing.
Well, that's what it sounds like he's doing.
I think he got rid of her before he went on the boat. And I mean, how easy would it be to throw the freaking key in the water? And they're looking and waiting for her to wash up. And no, ma'am. I lived in Myrtle Beach for 6 years, and we looked for that duck hunter for a long time. I think that he got rid of her before. I mean, you could throw the key over in the water, and they're looking, waiting for her to wash up, and nothing's ever washed up. I mean, look at the guy that was in, was it Brazil? Where was it the other week? That guy, the Joey somebody. His body washed up. The one that was over, where was that? Barcelona.
Right.
And they found his wallet. And I mean, he washed up. And the duck hunter, everybody said from day one that's not how it happened. because they were on the jetty and the boat took off and he supposedly fell out of it. I don't believe none of that. Then nobody ever found him down there, and they looked and looked and looked for him. I don't think the woman was on the damn boat.
Vicky, let me ask you a
Genius.
question. Did you live on the beach in Myrtle Beach, right on the beach?
I lived about a mile and a half. I lived in North Myrtle Beach for 6 years.
So-
I lived on the Intercoastal Waterway.
Unfortunately, on any beach town, you're going to have tourists or what have you accidentally drowning, right? I mean, where do the bodies go after they drown? Where do they go to? They get washed where?
To shore.
Back to shore.
And that lady hasn't washed up there. I think that he's got everybody waiting for her to wash up, and wherever he dumped her, I mean, it could have been anywhere, and that's going to be gone, and they're never going to find her.
Well, that's why it's important to do the timeline on where they were for 3 days prior to this. If anybody had any access to them, if they'd been to any restaurants, anything like that, because I'm sure probably 90% of those places have cameras just for their own protection. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and see how they're
believe it.
interacting.
I don't buy his story. And he was supposed to got out Friday at 7:20. They said at 7:20 Friday night that they would they felt everything was okay, they would release him. Well, they didn't let him go. Now he's in there till Monday, and I think they're trying to get more stuff on him. That's just my opinion. But I don't think she was on that boat with him. Not at all.
Then they've probably been going through the main sailboat and going through it with a fine-tooth comb. It'd be nice if they'd found, emails from her or text messages from her to somebody saying that they were fighting and they're not getting along and, stuff like that. And she needs to figure out how she can get off that boat and come home,
No, she wasn't on that boat.
Vicky, the chat loves what you're putting down, but I'm getting a lot of "we love the accent."
Now, you know what? Let me tell y'all this. I don't think I have an accent.
You don't.
No, you don't.
Well, I was actually born in Atlanta, Georgia, but that I only lived there till I was like 4 years old. I was raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. Went to high school in Charlotte.
Wow.
And now I live about 25 miles from Charlotte, south.
Well, bless your heart. Vic, I got to ask you, how long have you been listening? Is this your first time?
Oh, Lord God, no. I've been watching you forever.
Ever. Remember Brian? Gosh, I'm going to make a list of the, I don't like to say old timers, of the greatest people of all time. But Vicky's been here, I think, the third or fourth night Vicky popped up.
Yeah, because I saw you on Fox, and I keep telling Danny, I'm like, Jamie's on. And I listen to these other people, but they don't let you. There's one in particular. Oh, Lord. Your opinion, they will get mad. It's their way. Just like they believe in the Nancy Guthrie case, it was a one-person job. There is no way I'll ever believe there was one person that did that. No, ma'am. But,
Rick has an opinion on that too, Vic. I don't know if you heard his. Did you hear Rick's opinion on the Nancy Guthrie case?
No, because I gave my granddaughter a baby shower and I came on late. What's his opinion?
Rick, were they more than one person, you think?
Yeah, it's somebody from the inner circle that
Well, I think I got that one pinned, but I'm not gonna say because
you saw my text the other day of the photograph of the gloves that I found just by chance that match to a T.
No, that somebody knew, and I think Nancy knew him, the person that was at the door. And I think it was somebody real close.
I think what happened is if she let him in, she recognized the voice. And then when they came in all masked up, they, he's showing the gloves now.
Yeah.
They came in all masked up and she may have fought him to get that mask off. And
I think that's why they got rid of her, because they knew that she could identify them.
Correct.
and that is why they're gone. Everybody called me Detective Worley at work because I could always. I mean, I was on top of stuff.
I'm telling you, listen, Rick, Rich, and Steve and I all agree on one thing, Vic. We want to load all you folks up on a bus or a jet and fly you to a crime scene, because I think if we got you out there and turned you all loose, you'd have things solved in a very short period of time. We love the way you guys are invested in these cases. We love your theories, and it's amazing. It's the best community on TikTok, Vicki.
Well, it is, and I got Hooker. I'm really digging in on him. That one really caught my attention.
Yeah.
I think they both had been probably drinking some, and I don't think it took. He might think people believe it to go that far to his boat, 7:30 at night, and took to 4 o'clock the next morning. And we had a sailboat. We kept at Coquina Harbor, Myrtle Beach Yacht Club. We had a 39-foot sailboat, and we took it out. And I could use my friggin' phone,
Yeah.
and we would go out in the ocean. So I don't believe that horse crap either.
I like this. I like
You
it.
should have been the interviewer in that, or the interrogator.
We gotta bring
Yeah.
Vicki back up more often. I like it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do some more investigating on Mr. Brian Hooker and see what I can find out.
You're doing good.
All righty, you guys have a good night. I'm gonna step down and I'll be in the chat.
Much love to you,
Sounds
Vic.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Bye,
ma'am.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We have the best people ever, guys. I'm telling you. We could take these folks, put them on a jet, fly them to wherever this crime is, and I think they could make some great headway. Very, very smart.
Call you out on your BS.
Well, I'd like to have access to the booking office just for a week to debrief everybody that comes in that place.
Yeah, it's true. Guys, if you have any questions you want to come up, please do. We'll open up for a few questions. I promise, Rick, we'll figure out your camera here tomorrow. If you have some
That's
time,
good.
I'll call you. What are you looking for down the road? I mean, if they charge him, Rick, they should have the goods on him if we hear that he's been charged, right? But if he's released, that doesn't sound favorable in terms of.
No,
Maybe
because
they
if
don't have the
he's
evidence.
released, he's going to beat feet back to the U.S. as quick as he can, or some other area where it'd be hard to locate him.
Now, do we have an extradition treaty between them? I'm sure we do, right?
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. It's because it's a royal it's a royal government, and we have the same treaty with England. So, and we've pulled people out of the Bahamas before. It's just no big deal. It's actually pretty easy. And most of the Caribbean areas, islands down there, I mean, there's not a whole lot of places he can go, maybe other than Haiti or dip into Cuba, where he's going to be, getting any kind of safe harbor. And the way the politics are going now in Cuba, that's not going to be real safe for him either.
And I think
I
it
would
was
like to
as
know
you
what
were,
the last video-
real quick, Rick, she said that she had found somewhere, had information they were potentially a $250,000 life insurance policy.
Well,
I think is what she said. I'm trying to find it in
How old
the
it is.
chat.
yeah, let's see. I'm curious as to how they, were they both retired and had pensions, and how were they surviving? What were they surviving off of? I mean, it's still going to take money to run that boat, and it's still going to take money to live, no matter where you're going. Especially if you're going into a harbor, you got to pay harbor fees and stuff like that. I'd be curious as to what their monetary situation was. If there was, a whole lot, if there's a big ticket on the boat. I mean, is the boat owned outright, or is there still making payments on it? I mean, from the pictures I saw, it looked like a pretty nice vessel. I mean, it didn't look like a derelict boat of any kind that, you'd be afraid to sail across a lake in.
And that's the
Anyone
other
know
thing.
how
I
old
mean,
that is?
it doesn't track well. I mean, someone said, you should be charged for not having the right equipment. I mean, it's an 8-foot boat. if it's in the U.S., I mean, you have to have that minimum safety equipment required by the Coast Guard. So I don't see the Bahamas being any different. So, where was all the safety equipment? Why didn't he have more flares? Did he have a whistle?
Yeah, I mean, I think on a boat that small, like a jet ski, all you're required to have is a whistle, and that's attached to your PFD.
Yep.
And you've got, at the most, the vessel's only going to hold 2 people, so you got to have 2 PFDs and another flotation device. And usually on a boat that small, you'd use that flotation device to sit on. You probably have 2 of them in there for your passenger to be able to sit on one, so you're not sitting in the gunnel.
Yeah, someone's asking, does the dinghy have any lights? It's going to have a bow light, which is a red and green light.
On an 8-footer, I don't think you're going to have it.
I think it's required.
Really?
Yep. And then you're going to have a stern light, which is a white light.
Yeah. I just remember those Hearst used to make an 8-foot boat that everybody, you'd see them over at SeaWorld. They do clown stuff with them.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and I don't remember if those things had any lights. I mean, I guess you got to have some form of navigation light on it if you're going to be running it at night. But if you're running it during the day, you don't really need one.
Correct. And then somebody said, "Hey, where was the radio?" Not required in a dinghy.
It's not required.
Not required. I don't even think it's required. I think it's up to it's a 54, 58-foot boat. You have to have some type of radio communication. So,
well, my 26-foot cruiser, I had to have a radio on mine.
Okay, so in the U.S. it's 26 foot. So
yeah,
but nevertheless, Rick and Rich, I think we agreed on this last night. If you're sailing abroad like that, you're going to have an EPIRB, which is like an SOS box that if it hits the water, it's going to send a signal. But that dinghy is not going to have an EPIRB or any of that on there. So it's going to be bare minimum.
I think if you're a smart boater, most of these boaters nowadays have handheld navigation radios, and it's like the old police walkie-talkie. You just clip it on your belt and off you go. So if you run into a problems, the most problem you're going to run into is maybe an engine problem, and you don't want to float out to sea in an 8-foot dinghy. So you have your little handheld portable to call either our Coast Guard or the Bahamian Coast Guard and say, hey, I'm adrift out here, and this is my settings, this is where I'm at, and I need you guys to come get us.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's experienced. He's not going to go out in the water at night with no way to contact somebody just in case his neck is on the line.
Right.
No way. I wouldn't do it.
No, heck no. I mean, you're out there in an 8-foot boat with no lights on it, and you're trying to navigate. Apparently he knows where he's going because he ends up on this island. But you got to worry about other vessels, out in the open water, because you're technically in open water. You're not in a no-wake zone. So you're out there where, big boats can run you over.
And guys, just for the conversation, Launder had texted me, and I just saw it in the comments, and I forgot to say anything about it. But purportedly, they have found her Apple Watch. Now, I don't know where the watch was recovered from, but supposedly they found that Apple Watch, which that could be a treasure trove of data, if that's true.
Right. So I guess they found it in the water, though. And they're sure it's her watch, right?
I was told by 2 persons that they found the Apple Watch. I don't have any other additional
At this point, all we
that.
know is they found a Apple Watch.
That's true.
We know for sure that it's hers. If they find an Apple Watch, then the next thing you need to find is a hand maybe that it went on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at this point, if she's deceased and out in the water, she's bait for whatever wildlife is floating around out there.
Okay, Cactus Blossom said the watch was recovered on the beach, which is coinciding with what we're speculating.
Where she would have washed up.
She didn't. So that's a little odd. And again, I'm going to say that if she fell out of that dinghy, if the current took her away, it's going to take the dinghy with it.
I'd be curious if the watch, and I'm just thinking, if the watch is still clasped, if the band is still clasped, or if it's not clasped, or if it's the bracelet part of it is broken or something, to suggest that it would have been on her arm at the time that it came off. So, unless he took the watch, they were fighting or whatever, and it was on the other boat, and he may have taken personal effects out there off the main vessel and started dumping them areas where he knew they would wash up. That's my mind just thinks differently. So
No, I mean that's why we have you, Rick. You have a different mind.
yeah, I have a different mind. That's for sure.
Hey, let me ask you the grim thing real quick. How quickly and what go through the process, if you will, of a body being not just in water, but Rich, she's in salt water. Does that accelerate the decomp, or how does that work, Rick, in terms of the condition of her body if she's still in the water?
Well, she's, in the water, they're going to bloat up. I mean, if he weighted her down, threw her overboard, weighted her down with an anchor, the common misconception is that they're going to lay on the bottom of the water. They're not going to pop up. That just doesn't happen. Within a couple of days, the air and the gases start expanding the body, and then the body naturally wants to lift to the surface like it's a balloon. Then once whatever's exposed on the body becomes the elements come after it, and the heat of the sun will cause the blistering effect, and then after that point, there will be skin separation and sloughage, and then you've got whatever's flying around out there. Seagulls predominantly will be going after that body and picking at it. It's pretty nasty. It's nasty.
That's grim. That's grim.
I mean, it's the humidity there is like here in Florida, and it's a little bit more down there because you're south of the Keys, and it's warmer, so you got a little bit warmer water. So the amount of, this time of year, even somebody left in the woods after 3 days, they ended up becoming at least partially skeletonized.
And that place is infested with sharks. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. And if she's got any kind of a blood or anything like that, that's going to attract them to her. So, and it depends on what you've got. Bull sharks, you've got sand shark. Well, sand sharks aren't so bad. Nurse sharks. I mean, you got half a dozen varieties down there, and they're scavengers. They're going to look for the free meal. It's going to and then if one goes in there, then you're going to have a dozen going after them. I mean, there was
someone in the chat is saying, "Hey, salt water would help preserve the body." That's a myth.
Yeah, it's a myth.
I'll tell you.
I forget what the weight differentials are on salt versus fresh. It's like you're like 7 to 8 pounds per gallon on salt water. And salt water, if anybody's a diver, you tend to have a little bit more buoyancy in salt water versus fresh water.
The buoyancy in the Bahamas, they have a high salt content. It's a lot higher.
Right. So that means, when you go diving, you have to put on more weight and adjust your buoyancy compensator more so that you're negative buoyancy when you're down underwater. I'm a diver too.
So if this is in fact her watch, though, Apple's pretty good in terms of tracking movements. It has a built-in GPS.
Right.
That may be a treasure trove of data that could maybe connect the dots to figure out what really occurred.
Well, if they can identify that watch went into the water from, it was on the boat and then it was, at some point removed. Depending on what stuff. Most of these people that have Apple Watches now have health stuff attached to it. I know I've got several friends that have recently had heart surgery and stuff like that, and they depend on that Apple Watch. The doctors tell them get an Apple Watch because we want to be able to monitor your heart rates and stuff. So, depending if there was any of that attached to it, just so many things that can go. I mean, you can make phone calls on it. So it's crazy
Paper
technology.
Doll, Paper Doll, welcome, welcome, welcome. Paper Doll is in South Africa, guys. Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Welcome. That's a long distance call.
Yeah. I'm just curious as to what, they've got sounds like reasonable suspicion. When's it going to elevate to probable cause to actually charge? We'll have to wait and see.
Hey, Paper Doll, how are you? Welcome.
Hello.
Paper Doll, can you hear us?
I can hear background.
Yeah, I can hear background.
Hi guys, sorry, it's like 3 a.m. and my tablets are kicking in. I'm going to sleep a little bit now. I'm just listening my little bit of pieces now because I'm interested in this case as well as I did with the Nancy case. So I'm following up on this as well. And I'm listening on a few cases there. So I'm between all these different creators, and I'm jumping from one to the other to listen what they're talking about, and just go and listen to whatever is interesting. And I listen to them, and I don't really want to talk because the rest of the people in the house are sleeping, and I don't want to disturb them this time of the morning. Although my room door is closed, I don't want to disturb them. If you do understand that, I'm sure. So I'd rather just sit and listen. I really don't go. I don't go live at all. I really just sit and listen to everybody talking, and just taking all the details and take my own. How can I say my own what I think about it? So
Well,
I'll keep it
thanks
to
for joining
myself.
our little merry band.
Yeah, we're grateful that you found us.
Thank you so much. You can kick me out. I'll be listening and I'll be in the comments if you don't mind. Thank you
You
so
have a good
much.
night, and thank you for being here.
And a great day for you too. Thanks a lot for having me. Good night.
Good night. Sleep well.
Thank you, Will.
South Africa. Can you guys? That's a long ways from home.
That's a hike.
That's a hike.
That is a hike.
Somebody's
Very
saying
sweet
they
lady.
bought the boat 2 years ago in Texas.
Okay.
What
So
is?
I mean that boat should be updated with all the updated electronics.
Well, what is it, Rich?
Somebody just put in here, Vicky Worley said they bought the boat 2 years ago in Texas and they had it fixed up. It needed some work.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, everybody in this room is a great investigator.
I'd be curious as to what kind of boat it is, and I'm sure if you're going to make the crossing, depending, I guess if maybe they came across the Gulf and went from Texas. Where are they? Where do they call home? Is Texas home, or do we know?
I don't know where their home is.
Okay.
Vicky probably does.
Vicky, get on that.
There you go, Vicky. She's like, I'm on it. Okay, Vicky, that was quick. Michigan.
Okay. That's right. I did hear Michigan. Come to think
Yes,
of
I
it.
remember that now.
I remember that now. So, so I'm curious as to where they took, if they took off from Texas, or if they had the boat shipped up to Michigan and then came down through the Atlantic side. So
Either way, I mean, Rick, you just don't get in a sailboat and take off. So, I mean, you've got to know a little bit about navigation, safety issues. Got to be a pretty avid. I mean, you just can't get in a boat and start sailing.
I wouldn't. I mean, and I've had boats all my life. I mean, I've got, we all have friends from the agency that had boats, and lived down in the Keys when they retired, and we know a couple of guys that made the crossing with their big boats to the Bahamas, but that's an undertaking where you really don't want to go by yourself because there's so much pirate activity in those straits, where you kind of want to go with a buddy or two. That's another thing. I wonder if he's got any guns on the boat.
Yeah, nothing's been mentioned about that. But you always want to have a buddy boat.
Right. Because you never know. You never know what's going to happen, And I guess, I don't know, we don't know if this guy's got a captain's license or both of them have captain's licenses or anything, so.
Nancy says they bought the boat in Rockport, Texas. So Sharon says he was in the Navy.
Well, that don't mean anything. I mean, depending, unless he was, some kind of command officer, I guess. I mean, it just says that he's used to the water, maybe, unless he spent most of his time, stateside.
Or he could have been a helper, like Rich was my helper all those years, Rick.
Yeah.
Could have been an assistant.
Yeah, there you go.
Or Jamie banged his head. I still feel bad for you. I was never your assistant.
Yeah, Queen Bee, I agree. Queen Bee says it's a scary thing. You can go rent a boat with a driver's license, and that's absolutely true, man.
Oh yeah.
You see that all the time over here.
Well, yeah, here too. I mean, it's one of those things that give you a 15-minute dissertation on boating, and then say, "You're free. Bring it back with a full tank of gas."
And then Paper Doll's chiming in. She says, "Yeah, I also heard that he was in the Navy and a good swimmer." So, I mean, there's enough social media posts out that show them in the water. They were swimmers. They were
right.
She was in very good shape for her age, from what I understand. So I don't know, Rick. So what are we looking at, Rick? Monday, if he gets out, what's that? What does that telegraph you?
That they don't have anything.
They don't have anything.
If he gets out Monday, I mean the judge, or however they work it over there with a group of judges, or a single judiciary, looks at it and says, well, you haven't brought enough evidence for us to hold him, which it happens, but that doesn't necessarily stop the investigation. So they could let him go and say happy voyages, or we need to know where you're at all times. So
now, could they, Rich? You could chime in. I've got to ask one more question. I mean, can they hold his passport and not let him travel out of the country if they don't charge him?
If they don't charge him, I don't see how they could.
So he'd be free to move about the cabin and go home.
Yeah, I mean we've had people where they've held people over there, and we've seen it over the years where I can't remember the case now, but it was relatively recent where a guy was held over there, and it was in one of the islands over there, and they held him for a while, and they had to let him go, and he came back to the U.S. Like, they couldn't. It's a U.S. passport. They can't hold his passport.
He can still have custody of his boat too, though.
They could. They could retain custody of the boat and say, you're free to go, but the boat's not, because it's still considered a crime scene until we're done with it. We've done that before. It's like, okay, you'll get your car back when we're done with it. Maybe. I just think of, depending on the forensics that, they're going through that boat, I hope, with a fine-tooth comb, looking for anything to either affirm or deny that it was an accident and not a direct homicide. So, but it still smells.
I agree with that.
The date on the life insurance, is it a current one? Did they just get it, or is it something they got when they got married?
Yeah, did he get the insurance the day before?
Yeah.
Oops.
I've seen that happen a few times.
Oh yeah. It happens. Um, I'd just be curious, what activity they can do for them for, say, 3 days prior, just 3 days prior to this event. Where were they at? What were they doing? Who saw them? Did they seem to be, a happy-go-lucky couple, or were they standoffish and she's arguing with him and he's arguing with her, or is he, are they big drinkers? What's the deal?
Yeah, there's a lot of comments in the chat about the DV stuff. I guess according to the chat, it was pretty salacious and very bad. So I'm going to grab that interview from the mom, and we'll post that up on the feed here after we get off on the live, and so everybody can hear what the mom had to say. But supposedly, pretty bad stuff that mom was saying. Of course, Rick, how much? Let me ask you a question. If none of that was documented, let's say I think there's one report that I've seen I think he may have gotten on top of her and maybe choked her or something, right? But all these other allegations, if that's not reported, how much do you pay into that when you're being told this by the family? None of that was reported. Obviously, she shared that with the mom, but does that come into play in terms of any evidence, for the lack of a better word?
It'd only come in, at least in the States, you can utilize hearsay in a grand jury indictment, but you can't utilize it in trial. And I don't see any judge saying, they're going to object to it immediately, and a judge wouldn't allow it because it's hearsay unless there was a witness, somebody else, a third party witness can say, yeah, I saw it happen. It occurred. And here's my testimony to justify it. But if it's just the two of them and she's saying this and he's saying that, and there's no actual physical reports or a law enforcement investigation to back it up, then it's all hearsay.
Yeah, supposedly the daughter's involved in some DV. They were drinking, and Lynette was attacking or hitting Brian. So, I mean, it sounded like a family affair going around. It sounds like a lot of alcohol involved in all of these people.
Yeah, exactly. That was my first thought when I heard this was, okay, there's probably alcohol involved in this whole show.
Rich, what do you have for this witness before we release him? Rick, we've got to start bringing you on a regular basis. You've got to make time. People love you. You bring so much to the table in terms of your experience and what you've seen, what you've done. Going to try to get you on a couple times a week if that's possible.
Yeah, we'll just try to get my camera squared away so I look right.
Now, your first appearance, I'll let Rich ask you a couple questions, but your first appearance on camera, you must wear a suit or a tux.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
I got plenty of homicides. Left.
I don't know. If I'm investigating this, I'm going to look for the last possible video of her.
Right.
And then from there, you can kind of get an idea, where could she possibly be? Let's say it was 2 days or a day before she disappeared, where she could possibly be.
Hold on. The ladies are insisting no tux, no suit, but you must wear a wig. Did you guys see the chat?
I'm sorry, I don't need a wig. I got too much hair.
I'll be right back.
The big thing that they need to be doing is they're on that 8-foot dinghy for a reason. Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from on that 8-foot dinghy?
Yeah.
So that's where it's got to start. It's like, okay, you're in the 8-foot dinghy, you're headed back to your boat. Where were you at? And where can we have people that can verify that you were at that place?
Yeah.
Name it. Okay, did you buy anything? Did you buy lunch? Did you buy dinner? What did you buy? And show us, did you buy it on a credit card? Because we want to see what you did on the credit card. Any stuff like that to and if he's being truthful, it's like, here. I mean, if it was me, I'd be going, here's where we were at. Here's what we were doing. Here's where we had dinner. We stopped off at this place and picked up a jug of vodka at this bar or liquor store. We talked to the clerk for 15 minutes and He put it in a bag, and here it is. Hey, there you go. There's your wig.
I'm gonna lend this to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lend this to Rick.
Yeah, thanks. Beautiful.
Oh, gosh. Chasing jet lag. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well. Where are you from?
Dallas.
Dallas. Welcome
Yeah,
in.
Dallas.
What do you have?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me up. So to change the subject just a little bit to back to Nancy, just a question for you guys. Believe in the interview that Savannah did with Hoda, she said in there that they tended to believe that 2 of those ransom notes were real. She didn't say they were real. She said they tended to believe they were real. And at that point, the ransom in those 2 ransom notes, it was $6 million, I believe. Why was the money not paid? Why would the family choose to not pay it if they tended to believe that they were real?
No proof of life.
Proof of life.
So you only get people back if they're alive?
Well, you want to have something. If this person is saying that they believe she's alive, or they've seen, I think one of them said that they saw her alive and she was in Mexico. All right, provide proof of life that we can support that what you're saying is the truth. Because at this point, if they don't have anything, provide some kind of proof of where she's at to add credibility to what you're saying.
But
Makes sense.
I've got an issue with that, chasing, and I think you and I are going to agree on this. You're worth $40 million. If it's my mom, Rick and Rich,
Yeah.
I don't have 30 or 40 million in the bank or in assets, but I'm going to be paying whatever I can pay to either get my mother back alive or her remains back. That's Rick. I think is chasing. Is that where you're going with that? Why they've been
Exactly.
paid
Like,
for a chance?
right. Yeah. I mean, no proof of life, but I mean, it sounded to me like in all of their statements, they wanted her back no matter what.
And Rick,
Oh, yeah.
I call
So-
this real quick. I kind of renamed that proof of life, Rick, early on when we started discussing this. I kind of gave it a new name of let's see if there's a chance of life rather than a proof of life. And Rick, I know that the FBI standards and law enforcement, you don't pay until you see proof of life, but the family can go outside of that and just I would have paid it if I had the money for a chance of life.
I think there's one of the last ransom notes was requesting half a Bitcoin. And that half a Bitcoin is what they say, 30 grand, 40 grand?
Around 35,000, something like that. Yeah.
Right. So at that point, $35,000, yeah, I'll pay that. If you can come clean with it. But then if you don't come clean with it, then I know you're a turd. And anything that you send from this point on is worthless turd crap.
But see, I have to disagree. If that interview that she did, if we understood her to say, she didn't come out and say they were fake. She didn't come out and say we don't believe they're real. Rick, she's got the money. Why would you not take a chance on sending that money to get your mother's remains back?
Why not? Go for it. For 30 grand, that's a drop in the bucket. That's nothing. Even us could come up with 30 grand pretty easily. It's just a matter of, do they really believe that these are legitimate? You got Savannah saying she felt what I think she said the two early on letters they got or emails they got, they felt were credible. But this whole case has been screwed up from day one. So.
It's so incredibly sad and disheartening. I just feel like the entire world, everybody that Nancy knew personally has let her down.
Oh, I
I think
agree.
her family has let her down. I think her friends have let her down. I mean, nobody even looked for her.
Well,
You
and a
know,
lot of that.
Not even,
I've said this
nobody
time and
even
time
looked for the
again, chasing.
lady.
I am not a big fan of Savannah Guthrie. I think she has a platform that's worldwide. My God, where's she at? Where's she been? She's been MIA. So I'm not a fan of this family at all.
Right.
And Rick, you may have a different opinion. Rich, you may have a different opinion. I think the optics of the family look terrible.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, it's a matter of everybody that's had their finger on this case, from law enforcement side to the family side, has, if it was my family, I'd be raising Cain with law enforcement. No, wait a minute, no. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to get somebody in here to do it. I've got the money. I've got the best investigators I can at my fingertips that are ready, willing, and able to come out here and do what you're not doing, and I'll pay them whatever it takes for them to teach you how to do the job.
But there
Absolutely.
is no investigators. There is no private personal investigators. There is nothing from this family. I mean, right now, I mean, Chasing, are you following? They're trying to do a recall of the sheriff. The Board of
Right.
Elections out there, the county commission, I think it is wanting, they give him 10 days to respond to, I think, 4 or 5 items that they're demanding he produce before that board meeting. If that was my mom, I would already have been out setting at the Board of Elections or the county commission, whoever's uh, holding this meeting, demanding answers. And like I said, I think the family has failed. I think it's an epic failure of the family.
Oh yeah,
It's so sad. You know, as a parent, I mean, we're all parents. I'm sure that everybody on this panel has a child.
yeah.
Um, you know, um, as a mother, you nurture your children. You rock them when they're little, you feed them, you diaper them, you take them to the doctor when they're sick. And as they grow and they age, you go to their sporting events, or if they're a cheerleader or whatever they do at school, you attend all those functions, you're present, you cheer them on, you buy them the cute outfits, you send them to prom, you do all of these things, and you hope that you're preparing your child. At the end goal is to prepare your children for life, right? So that they move out of your house, they go to college, they go to trade school, they do whatever they do, and they fly. They have the right tools. They have the tools to be able to go. Nancy did a great job at that. Look at her 3 children. They're pretty good kids. I mean, they're adults now, but it looks like she raised good children. They're all successful. Success doesn't always mean money, but people are successful in different ways. So, Savannah happened to be super successful financially. Annie is weird, and the weird thing she does, she's still successful. I mean, she's smart, intelligent. The son, Cameron, he's a fighter pilot for the government. I mean, that's huge. Those are successful people. And they did nothing for her after all the things that she did for them. And, why didn't they set up a command post, day 2, day 3, have 500 t-shirts, have, baseball caps, my mom's missing. They don't have to work it. I mean, Savannah has a personal assistant. They could have set that up. They could have had volunteers out there, passing out flyers. I don't know that stuff works, but it's better than sitting in a home in an Airbnb and crying and posting Instagram videos that you're devastated. You've had to leave in the middle of the night. And walk through the desert hand in hand with my siblings because our lives were threatened. What does that even mean? Her mother was abducted from her home in the middle of the night and left in her pajamas with no shoes. And she's worried about her safety? That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. She had security at that house, armed security. She did. Nobody was getting Savannah and her siblings. Nobody was coming in that home. Whoever was there that was secure, their security had guns. I mean, this is crazy. They did nothing but get on Instagram
could it be the
and
fox
cry.
guarding the hen house?
Well, I think early on they were putting a lot of their trust, and now we're learning incorrectly putting their trust into the law enforcement side of it.
I agree with that. And I think the law enforcement failed them tremendously. But it's not over. She still isn't found, and they still haven't done anything.
Well, at this point, I think they've, at least on the law enforcement side, they've pretty much turned it into a cold case that's just going to remain cold until somebody finds remains.
I mean, I will say this: FBI was back out there yesterday, asking neighbors additional questions. So something's came up in the last 72 hours that prompted those folks to go out and re-canvass and re-interview some people. But I'm going to put something together tomorrow. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but I'm going to produce a video. And Rick, I don't. You may or may not agree with what I'm about to put down. Chasing, I think you will. Rich, undetermined, but listen to this. Go back to the Nanos press conference, and I think it was the second one. We all agree that he's a politician and he doesn't perform well in front of the camera. He doesn't speak well. He loses his train of thought.
100%.
But listen to this. If you go back, and I listened to this again today. He was asked a couple questions and he just stopped out of nowhere and said, well, hold on 1 second. And he had his cell phone and he's like, let me read this script. Now, I'm not going down the conspiracy hole here. But he says, let me read the script. And he's like, I don't do well reading scripts, but I want to make sure that I'm reading the script from the family. I mean, what the hell is that? Rick, you've been at these press conferences, you've held them. You're going to read a script?
No, I've never read a script. I've probably got in trouble for some of the stuff that's come out of my mouth with the media.
I mean, I'm not going down the conspiracy route of corruption or inside jobs or any of this. I'm certainly not saying the sheriff's on the take, but something just doesn't track well. I'll put it together and drop that video sometime tomorrow. But once you hear what I'm trying to say, it just makes you scratch your head coming from a leader and a politician and a sheriff.
Right.
What do you mean you're reading a script and you want to make sure you get it right from the family?
Well, if you notice here in the last 10, 15 years, you rarely, if ever, see the lead investigator involved in the media conversation. The lead investigator might be standing around there while the sheriff is reading his script that's probably been produced by whatever public information officer has told him what to say. And then he goes off the script because he doesn't know he doesn't know the case well enough. And you see that a lot of times with a lot of these sheriffs and chiefs of police. They're just up there to be the face of the agency. They talk.
But Rick, that wasn't the case. He clearly said, and I'll drop the video tomorrow.
Yeah.
He clearly said, I have to make sure I get the family script correct. What? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, in a case like this where you're holding press conferences and you're talking to the public and on national TV, even though he hasn't worked that case, he should know everything about that case so he can speak on it correctly. That's his job.
Or keep your mouth shut and let your lead homicide detective, like Rick
And
was saying,
let other
speak.
people speak.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
One of the two. But another thing, and maybe y'all could answer this, I'm sure you can. They came out to the public, the sheriff's department, and wanted the neighbors, Nancy's neighbors, within a 2-mile radius or something like that, I believe, go through their camera footage, right, and make sure that they didn't see anything. Why in the world from what I can tell and from what I've seen on TV, it does look like the area that she lived in had a lot of retirees in it. I'm not saying anything negative about older people or retirees, but a lot of them are not very tech savvy. They might have the equipment, but they might not know how to go back on it and track it. They might just be able to just see the notifications. When your Ring doorbell goes off, your phone blows up. And you see the person. They might not be able to go back, a month ago and find that. Why leave information that could solve the case up to the neighbors to go back on their footage? Why did they not either take it by them just turning it all over. And if neighbors wouldn't turn it over, why didn't they go and get subpoenas to get it? And they go through it themselves. Because I can assure you, somebody in that neighborhood has footage of something. They either don't know how to get it, don't know how to use their cameras, or they just haven't done it. They're busy. They're not interested.
Well, that's the number one. When you work a case like this, and being on the ground as a homicide detective, once you start looking around at the scene and you look around at the area and go, you assign somebody to go knock on every door and go look for cameras. And it's like, okay, you got a camera, and then, within the first 3 days, all of those cameras in that area should have been scanned. Somebody should have been assigned, 2 or 3 detectives assigned to look at all this video and collect it. All right. You don't want to give it to me? I'll get it from the provider. If it's a Blink camera, I'm gonna say, okay, here's the address where the Blink camera is. Here's my subpoena to Blink to give me all the data for the last 14 days.
I don't think they did that. If they've done that, they certainly didn't say anything. All I ever heard was that they asked people to go back and look at their cameras to see if they saw anything. Well, they're not detectives. I mean, I wouldn't know what I would be looking. I'm not a detective. I haven't been trained. I don't, maybe you would probably see something that I wouldn't see.
Probably.
It doesn't have to be a man in a mask. You know what I mean? It could be a car on the street or something that you thought looked suspicious that I would just think was a parked car.
Time out. Hold on. Here's the problem. Nanos is a ego. I can't say that, I'll get banned. Nanos is a goofball free leader. We named him Opie from day 3. Here's the deal. The homicide, from what we understand, and Rick did some investigation on this homicide squad and the tenure of some of these people, quite alarming, right, Rick? New people, new homicide detectives, new homicide investigator supervisor with no experience in homicide. Therein lies your answer and your problem.
That's why the FBI went back there so many times, is because the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing when they got on the scene. And I think early on they looked at it initially as just an old lady wandering off.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll get down because I know probably other people want to get up. But and this, I don't, not bringing politics into it. But whatever you think about Trump, it doesn't matter. But he did get on national TV, and that he's the most powerful person in the world. That one man is the most powerful person in the world. Right. And he said on national TV that he would help her do anything that he could do to help her find her mother. Nobody ever called on him.
Nope.
Well, let's
now,
flush
do
that
they
out real
really?
quick.
It makes me look at that. It makes me look at that family and say, "Yeah."
Let's flush that out for a minute. Nanos is certainly not going to call the federal government because Nanos was not happy with the FBI investigation into his own agency. He has a history with FBI and the Department of Justice. They went out and did an investigation. He wasn't happy that they left him out of the loop, for the lack of a better word. So you're right. I mean, setting politics aside, Sheriff Nanos, get on a plane, fly to D.C., meet with the president, figure out what the federal government can do to help you at this point. But he's not going to do it.
Right. Why wasn't Nanos in the Oval Office? He would have been invited.
Absolutely. And the president said unlimited resources.
Whatever you need to do, we'll take. I mean, he talked to Savannah, same thing. Yep. Whatever you need, we're at your disposal.
I mean, and then somebody's writing in the chat because Savannah doesn't like Trump. It's not about Trump.
It's about your mom.
Right.
It's about your mother.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy to me. I mean, this whole thing, something just doesn't pass the smell test. And I would absolutely never accuse a family member of doing something like that to their mother. Those are huge allegations. Those are very powerful words. And I would never say that. I will say something doesn't smell right.
Well, Rick will tell you what.
Too early on, and we've we've gone on this quite a lot. And early on, when you delve into an investigation like this, one of the very most important things that you have to do in a homicide case or a missing endangered person is do your victimology. And victimology is who had access to her, who is her circle. And on cases like this, you're always going to find somebody in the circle, whether the inner circle or the outer circle, that had some ability to go after her for whatever reason, whether they thought she had money, which it sounds like that's what it was. But too early on, if you remember correctly, the first thing old Nanos is doing is clearing a family. Well, you don't do that. You don't clear anybody until an arrest is made. And you don't talk about all this stuff. You just you don't bring all this. The media doesn't need to know. It's an open case. We're following leads, and we have the FBI on scene. We have DHS on scene. We've got horses. We've got dogs. We've got everything. But I was throwing stuff at the TV when I saw him saying that the family was cleared.
Yeah, I mean, a couple people in the chat said that, and she may have said this, that she trusted Sheriff Nanos and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. If she still trusts him, she's as stupid as Nanos.
Right.
She's as stupid as Sheriff Nanos if she trusts him. And his abilities. There's zero confidence in that. The deputies, before you go chasing, the deputies spoke loud and clear. They don't trust him. And it was a 100-0 confidence, no confidence vote against the sheriff. So there you go.
I mean, everybody in his department, not everybody, but there has been multiples in his department that have come out and spoken against him during all this.
Yes.
He's not respected in his department. I mean, he's not a leader. I mean, that's very, very clear. He's a terrible leader. And, the family should have done something different. They seem to go on the side of they're very private people. It's not time to be private. It's time to scream to the roof and to make yourself seen and known. And staying private helps nobody in the situation, regardless. And this family has just failed their mother on all levels. And it is, I've never seen anything like this ever. I guess it happens. Maybe things like this happen all the time, and you just don't see it because they're not profiled, high profiled cases. But I mean, something isn't right. Something doesn't pan out. And at 84 years old, when you were talking about victimology and inner circles and outer circles, her circles at 84 years old are very small.
Right.
Those are very small circles of people. I know people that are that age. They don't have 500 friends and a family of 100 people. As you age, your circle gets smaller because unfortunately people pass away or move on or don't live by you anymore and go live closer to their kids because of their health and things like that. So her circle of friends was probably 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
The few workers that she had in and out of her home to, do her landscaping. There wasn't much grass because it's Arizona. That one patch of grass she has in the back, I'm sure that's turf. It stays green constantly. I've never seen sprinklers go off. I'm sure that's some kind of artificial turf. Anyway, what I'm saying is like her circle of people is extremely small. I would think.
They talked to, I'm sure, 84 years old, she probably was strong-willed and she wanted to live on her own and so forth and so on. But, we've all got parents that have been like that. And, we panic because, we know that they're strong-willed, strong-headed, and they want to live on their own. They want to do this, that, and the other. But you still, if you look at the aerial, there's an apartment there. Put a, somebody in that apartment that's trusted to help her out, to be there for her in case of
Chasing.
Well, it seems like from what I understood, she rented it out up until like 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
I'm sure that this person or people, you would have to go back pretty far in her life to, this person is probably far back. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
they've known her for a long time is what I'm trying to say, and maybe got angry with her. Maybe somebody didn't pay their rent and she kicked them out. I don't know. Maybe they're still holding that grudge against her. I don't know. Maybe it is Savannah's fame. Maybe somebody didn't like an interview Savannah did 5 years ago. You'd have to kind of go back far, but this is somebody close. I'm not saying it's her family. I would hope, I would
No,
pray that is not her, it's not her immediate family. And I really don't think it is, but it is somebody that is close and knows all of those people.
Well, here. Let me say what no one wants to say. I'm not bashful at all. I absolutely. It's either family,
right.
friends, or service workers. It's
Right.
not a stranger.
I don't think it's service workers, and I'll say why. Because like the people that like did her pool, that company, all those people were swabbed for their DNA. They were all interviewed. So to me, it's not a service worker.
Well, all those people that were currently employed with the pool company were
Right.
swabbed.
Yeah.
So you have to look at, it's like you go in there and it's like, okay, we've swabbed everybody here. Who have you fired in the last 6 months?
There you go.
Oh, who's left on their own accord in the last 6 months?
There you go.
Now, I think, if they're saying that, the big theory is that she let him in. Okay, well, if she let him in, it's because she recognized the voice. And when the voice came in with a mask on, there might have been a scuffle there, and she demasked him and goes, "Julio, what are you doing here? Why are you wearing a mask?" And then it went from bad to worse.
Oh,
Rich,
that
what do you
is so
have
frightening.
before chasing goes? I know you have at least 2 questions. Let's hear him. Put it down.
No, I mean, I've just been listening, to be honest with you. I have to agree. I think Manos is a joke. That's giving him a compliment, to be honest with you. I do think it is at least one family member is involved, maybe with friends. I don't know. This thing is how many days old now? Like 90, 100? How many days is
60,
it?
no, 70 or
71.
71.
71
Yeah.
days.
Do y'all believe that the motive here is money?
I
Why
think it
else would
has
they take her?
something to do with money. Yep, obviously.
Well, I think it started out as something to do with money, and then she ended up getting hurt or had a medical episode, and then their DNA would be on the body, or she scratched them or whatever. So the only way to eliminate them, finding the suspect, is to take the body and dispose of the body.
Bingo.
Let's be
Bingo,
honest.
bingo.
You're in dead sleep. You wake up and you see that standing in front of you, like the shows or whatever. I would probably have some heart condition at that point, to be honest. Waking up from a dead sleep, it's gonna
Right.
freak anybody out.
Right.
It's just so sad. I just feel so sad because it does sound like she was an amazing woman. And I just feel like the people that were around her failed her. And that's horrible.
Well,
And they continue to.
Yeah.
Chasing, thank you so much. I mean, wow, a lot of great points. You got to come back. Don't be a stranger, please. Um, Rick, I can't disagree with anything that she said. Rich,
I can't either.
these are the smartest people on TikTok that are in this community. And Chasing, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me up, guys.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there you go,
My
guys.
daughter,
What's that?
my daughter came in. The one that was
Oh, good.
came back from Poland. That was military police at one time. I was gonna have you embarrass her, but she probably already jumped off.
I don't see her in here.
Yeah, she popped in. Said hi, Dad.
Oh, I missed it. Rick, I'll call you sometime tomorrow,
Sounds good.
and we'll fix that camera. And Heck, if nothing else, I'll come over to. Well, you're in Clearwater. Where are you? You're south of me, right?
Yeah, I'm down by Sarasota.
Sarasota. I don't know if I'm going to drive that far to fix your camera, but we'll figure it out.
Weather's nice. I got some work you can do around the house.
Okay. I'll call you sometime tomorrow. Man, as always, I'm so grateful for you coming on and giving your time. And I think we have the best people on TikTok. And thank you, Ricky.
Hey, no problem.
I'll call you sometime tomorrow afternoon.
All right. See you, Rich. Good seeing you, bud.
Bye, brother.
See you, buddy. Bye-bye. We do have the smartest people. By
Smartest
far,
people on TikTok, man. The community is the smartest community on TikTok. And they love Rick. They love you guys. Let's see here. All right, guys. I truly hope you enjoyed that. I know you did. We love hearing from Rick and Rich. Rich, I don't mean to leave you out. We hear from Rich almost every night. But no, guys, seriously, if you can, we have this little thing I like to do. Blow the chat up with blue hearts for Rick to show your appreciation, guys. I should have done that before we hopped off with him. But Ricky, these hearts are for you, brother. And Rich, Steve had texted me. Steve was a little bit under the weather tonight, so that's why Steve didn't come on. He's trying to recover from whatever it is that he has. So hopefully he gets well soon, so we can get him back on. What a I didn't know this live was going to go this long.
Oh wow! I didn't even realize it's gone this long.
Yeah, it's amazing. And guys in the chat, one more time, thank you for always being here and being present, being connected. And the chat is so active, Rich. It's just so many good people in the chat.
The hippie pic of us too.
Huh?
Did you see that?
No, what was
Somebody just made a comment about the hippie pic that I posted the other night where we were ringing the bell. That lady had no idea who we were.
Yeah, you were a hippie for sure. You still try to be a hippie. Where'd you get the afro at? That's concerning. I mean, you come up with a new wig every night.
You'll see me on
something
the
you need
news
to tell us? Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate it. Joanne says best live on TikTok, Rich. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
But where do you get these wigs? That's concerning to me. I've known you for over 30 years.
I already told you I borrowed them from my daughter.
I don't believe
was
that.
a Halloween costume. That was a Halloween costume.
I need a statement.
You know, maybe I walk around the house sometimes and I just pretend I'm somebody else.
You do walk around the house in a wig, don't you? Is there anything you want to confess to on live TikTok?
You know, we always said we should have worn a wig sometime when we were working undercover. That would have been fun.
Lord
we
Jesus.
never did.
Bro, think about that. If I was sitting here like this, like you, we're chopping it up, pulling out the nitty gritty, expert witnesses, expert testimony. Let's dive in the case, and all of a sudden I just go, boop, and I put a red wig on. And then the next night, we're chopping it up, and I go over here, whoop, I pick up an afro. I mean, you have these things at your fingertips. That's what concerns me.
You stuck on a blue wig last night, and I kind of thought it looked good on you. It fits you, actually. You should put it on right now.
No.
Yep. Yeah, you looked because you know it's there. You know it's there.
It's right there on the shelf. It's in my little car. I have like these little carts over here, right? Damn it.
Up here comes the wig, guys.
I don't know why you guys started this wig thing. Actually, it's not you guys. It's you. Wow. Dude, they're going to have rumors about.
That looks good on you, honest.
They're going to call this the wig life. Or maybe it should be called the fashion.
Hold on, let me put mine on and we can have a conversation. Hold on.
I look like somebody's grandmammy from up in the mountains. But no, guys, got to have a little bit of fun once in a while. I don't see anything wrong with having a few laughs.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, bro?
You know, I don't think anybody would watch if we had discussions like this.
I have hair in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't like it. I always feel like it's still on my head after I take it.
It's not even
off.
hair; it's nylon.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
No, guys, you gotta have fun. If you don't have fun, you live a boring life. I guess there's nothing wrong with a wig once in a while.
We never
subjective.
wore a wig ever.
Nope. Yeah. Jinjack says, imagine someone doom scrolling on TikTok and they come up on us.
Yeah, we probably.
I'd watch. I wouldn't keep scrolling.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I would
I'll
have to
be
see
in.
what was going on.
These dudes are weird. Oh, lordy.
I agree. That's like perfect on Jamie, the blue hair.
I'm not digging the blue. I'll tell you, I'm not in love with the blue. Not in love. Clear browser history to get rid of the wigs. Rich, 2 takeaways from tonight. What's your 2 takeaways? It was a good live.
Yeah, it was actually. I wish we would have gotten more into the general. You know, in the beginning when you mentioned that to me, I have a hard time taking you serious every time that cowboy hat goes on your head.
Thank you, Kim.
I wasn't really that interested in that case, but I've steadily gotten more interested as time has gone on because there's no way it's a coincidence at this point. It's just too many people.
I mean, it's 11 plus the general. It's 12 people that are missing or unalived.
6 and 6. 6 are missing, 6 are unalived. And I'll show you the dates. Some of them are like 4 days apart, I think. It's really strange. But as far as the case in the Bahamas goes, I think it's going to hinge on, is there any of that red stuff in the big boat? If it is, you'll know it immediately because they're going to get another hold on him, until they figure it out. I still find that super hard to believe that if the current pulled her away, the dinghy would have gone in the same direction. If the current was pulling her, it's going to pull the boat too. And plus he's paddling at the same time. You would think he would make it ground. Just have a hard time swallowing that one being an accident, her falling over. And then all of a sudden they find a watch. If you were a bad guy, that's exactly what you would do. Throw stuff in the water and say, look, sharks must have got her.
Guys, we're going to close it down, but I think if you guys want to come up and we'll do another, we'll stay to 10:30. Rich, you okay if people want to come up and chat? Let's do this. We've never done this before. You guys want to come up? Question away. It can be about anything we've discussed tonight on the live. It could be anything that you're wondering that happens maybe behind the badge that you don't see. Some techniques or policies or whatever your questions are. We'll give it a few minutes to see if people are interested in that. But if you want to come up, fire away those questions. We'll do some rapid answers and questions and get some people moved through. I think you're okay with that, right?
This is how Jamie and I used to solve cases and work cases is we'd throw stuff off of each other and he would say, yeah, that sounds good, or no, that sounds stupid. And we just keep doing that all the time. And we were quite successful at it.
Hi there, everyone. How are you tonight?
Hi there.
Hey, Nona, how are you doing? Welcome.
Just have a question. I mean, I just started following you not so long ago. So were you both detectives or obviously you were both in law enforcement?
Go ahead, Rich.
Yes, we were.
Okay.
He was my partner in undercover narcotics.
No way. That's pretty interesting.
Could you imagine us being immature working undercover.
Well, those wigs are pretty cool.
Yeah, don't judge us on the wigs, okay? Please.
I
No,
won't. I won't.
I did around 35, almost 35 years, both in law enforcement. Then I opened up an investigative company, ran that for a long time, and did a lot of crazy global cases with that, global investigations, worked some high profile cases. Got assigned to a violent crimes task force at FBI, so I worked that for a very long time. And Rich, my goodness, he's modest, Nona, when he talks about himself, but probably one of the best investigators that I've met. We were literally the dynamic duo. We didn't do a lot of things right in life, but we did the job really well. So, and then if you listen to Rick, career cop, major case investigator assigned to homicide. Rick has somewhere upwards of 300 bodies that he's investigated over his career. So, we try to bring the best of the best, Nona, to you guys.
That's phenomenal. Well, just listening to the both of you, the last few nights that I've been watching, how you were discussing this Nancy Guthrie case and that, and there's a lot of holes there. It's
Do you have a
someone
theory
knows
you want to share?
something.
You want to share your theory?
Excuse me.
No,
What do I think? Are you
Yeah, you
asking?
want to share what you think?
I think that the family does know something. Maybe something happened that night, or maybe Nancy wasn't feeling well, and that hasn't been brought forward. Something just doesn't sit right with me. Maybe it's innocent, but enough hasn't been brought up. There's just too many holes. And I mean, the son-in-law is everybody's pointing fingers at him. I don't know if it's him. I really don't. Yeah.
We have a saying on this show that we don't believe in coincidences. We believe
Right.
in suspicion, right?
Exactly.
And I always wanted to get common sense hat, but put your common sense hat on and use your common sense in a lot of this stuff. And I think we all have great discernment. You do. I mean, you're sharing that with us. So one last thing, where are you in the world?
I'm in Canada. Actually, I am right on Lake Superior.
Wow.
I'm in a little city called Thunder Bay, Ontario, about 45 minutes from the American border.
Amazing. We love Canada. And we
Well, we
had
love
a
you
lady in from
Americans
South
as well.
Africa. Yeah, exactly. Don't let that other thing mess us up. We love Canada.
No, and we love you fellows too. We've met quite a few people who come up here
Yes, ma'am.
to go fishing and that, and we've got a lot of wonderful lakes up here.
I was a youngster. My grandfather was an avid fisher in Canada. We used to fly in on a puddle jumper to Tilden Lake. I don't know if you know where that is. Out in the middle of nowhere. They fly you in, drop you off, and there is no one else there until they pick you up 7 days or 8 days later. So beautiful. You have a beautiful country.
Well, thank you. So do you. The United States of America is also very, very beautiful.
If we all could be like this, it would be a greater place, right?
Absolutely.
All right, my dear. Thank you. Please follow us. And we always try to bring some experts on 2 or 3 times a week. We've got a couple of people lined up for this coming week. And, we don't know it all, but as a group and a community, we're learning as we go. And it's good people like yourself that help us get there.
Well, like I said, thank you for allowing me to come up and speak to the both of you. And you're great. I think this is one of the best groups that on here right now that you make a lot of sense. Let's just say that you make a lot of sense.
No, I was told a long time ago, when you know it all, it's time to quit. And that's why you surround yourself with people that have experience. And it's the community. It's you guys that make this channel.
For sure. Well, good luck, and we'll keep it, I wish you both all the best, and we'll keep in touch. And I'll let I'm sure John wants to speak as well.
Yeah, I think we have, man, look at this. The diehard guys coming on. Hey, thank you, Nona. We appreciate you. Much love.
Well, thank you. Same
All
to
right,
you.
my dear. Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you.
Rich,
Bye.
we have the best people on TikTok. What's up, Brother
I agree.
John?
Hey guys, how's it going?
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing okay.
Where in the world are you in the world?
I'm on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in a
Love Mississippi.
little town between the Alabama state line and, say, a more well-known place like Biloxi, Mississippi. I'm in Pascagoula.
Oh, we know where
I
Pascagoula
know where
is.
that is.
Okay, well, you know
Yeah.
that typically blows over most people's heads.
Hey, real quick, I went up to Biloxi. My wife's probably watching, so I've got to fib a little bit. I went up there on a case.
I got you.
But I did go on a case. But I ended up going to the casino. But I'll never forget the Uber driver, man, dropped me off. They were having a minor league baseball game.
Yeah.
Big on minor league ball up there, baseball. But the guy dropped me off at the wrong place. I happened to find this baseball field by chance walking. But, what a beautiful place, though. Good place to be. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Bring it on, man. I know you've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, usually I tend to end up with more questions than answers. I've had theories throughout on all the cases discussed here this evening, but one of the things that I keep thinking about is, automobiles, outboard motors, a lot of that type of stuff have a diagnostic interface where you plug in a computer and you can get all kind of information from those motors. I'm interested to know if that little electric motor on that dinghy has a diagnostic interface where they can corroborate his story of the kill switch being what turned it off. And then did it show any activity between the time it allegedly shut off and the time he beached it? Or was it really running? How much battery power was left? Where the battery's drained? Did it still have battery? There's so many things I wonder when it comes to those small aspects of evidence.
That's
Rich,
not small. That's actually very intelligent coming up with those things.
He's putting down some good stuff right there.
Yep.
I just wonder if they have the capabilities of those resources in the Bahamas, or will they deem it important enough to seize that dinghy and bring it back to where the resources are to have that done.
We know that the U.S. Coast Guard is involved, their criminal investigation division. So they certainly, John, we would think they would have that technology to download all of the above if that boat's capable of storing it, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's, kind of like the same thing they did with Annie and Tommaso's car. They took it in and they probably stripped it of its entire route directory, and that's probably why it had to go to the dealership for a month to be fixed. They probably had to replace computers and reprogram stuff after they got done with it,
What
I'm just reading in the
nowadays-
comments real quick. Patty says her first child was born in Pascagoula, and
oh wow,
she was a nurse at Singing River Hospital. So you've got, John, you have fans.
That's wonderful. I was also born at Singing River Hospital 49 years ago.
Rich, that's a good point. I mean, you think they're already on top of that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's amazing that anybody in today's world with all the technology out there can get away with anything. You think about it, everything can get you caught. Things you didn't think about. That's what he came up with is amazing. I hope that the people in the Bahamas came up with that and they're researching that and looking into that at least.
I vote we send John over there and let John help in the investigation.
Probably already be over with.
Well, I mean, a small segment of it anyway.
What's your thoughts on the Nancy Guthrie case, John? I have to hear.
Well, I'll tell you, I thought I had a strong theory, but it's changed time and time again. It's really hard for me to put something concrete down at this point because, I'm on the fence about those ransom letters, the fact that they were considered fake or real, and now it's coming out that apparently they were real. They've even insinuated lately that, Savannah Guthrie's portraying that the two were real in her opinion. It's now being said that the FBI is admitting that they were real, and that there was even photo and or video evidence of proof of life. Now, I don't know if there's any truth to that, but that's what I've heard lately. And if those ransom notes were real and they offered proof of life, then my original theory, I'm not going to say is wrong. It may have some elements of truth to it, but back before I believed in the ransom notes, I was thinking it was like, I hate to use the word professional because you got a lot of yahoos out there doing stuff, and just because they're doing a lot of it doesn't mean they're professional. But I'd like to say, maybe an organized crime ring might have been casing the neighborhood, assuming that, Nancy Guthrie wasn't a target because of her daughter Savannah, and that maybe they chose her house as a target based on low activity, and decent obscurity. Maybe they went in there, wasn't expecting her, and then there she was. And if they're the type of people that say went in there intending to steal stuff for a payday, and if they had plans on doing more of that in the same neighborhood, maybe that was the first house they went to, and they were like, "Uh-oh, well, we don't want anybody to know that we were here, and we don't want them to know we were here for that reason. So let's get rid of all the evidence that we were here. And so when they come looking for her, it'll look like a silver alert." I feel like the back doors being propped open was to take attention away from the front porch, where there was obvious evidence. There was blood on the ground. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can say that. There was red stuff on the ground, and there was a missing camera. And I don't know how long that front porch evaded their attention, but it was long enough to have it messed up for a while. And
Let me ask you a question. What's your thought? And I've named the video guy. I named him the creepy video guy, right? Creepy
yeah,
porch video guy. John, you sound like you're a very good guy. You're very smart. Pick up a lot of good stuff that a lot of people don't.
thank you.
Backpack full, backpack empty. What's your take on that?
Originally, I agreed with some other people that it might have been a backpack full of other bags, ready to fill up bags and bags and bags of stuff of stolen property. But someone pointed out not too long ago that if you watch a clip, a lot of the clips that are circulating now, they're only showing him facing the front door and the camera. The original video that circulated showed everything, him coming up, walking away, picking up stuff, coming back. And if you look at that clip and you pay real close attention to his backpack when he's walking away, as he's walking away, the lighting against the backpack changes. But under a certain level of lighting, I guess from that camera, if you stop the video at the right spot, the imprint appears on his backpack that of possibly a drone. Like there might be a drone inside that backpack. And
That's interesting. I've never even thought of that.
and then when I realized, hey, if that were a drone, would the use of a drone in that neighborhood, would it leave any electronic traces of itself in other people's devices, hotspots, routers, printers, just anything? Would a drone operating in that area leave evidence, electronic evidence, in other people's devices?
Now, what do you
I've
suppose the
never thought of
drone
that.
will be used for?
Surveillance, scouting out, casing, just anything to stay obscured as a person and operate a little piece of equipment in the sky so that the person's not being seen. And that also brings me back to the little antenna sticking out of the guy's pocket. People thought might have been a jammer or a walkie-talkie. It could have just been part of a drone remote.
Rich, I'm telling you, we need to load the entire community up on a jet and fly them
Just go
out
solve
to
cases.
Pima County and go solve the case. Check that
Solve a
out.
whole lot of cases with our group.
I mean, I would have never thought of that. I mean, I was convinced that, okay, maybe it's a rapid radio or some type of walkie-talkie that he's calling the getaway car, right?
Yeah, and
I
it
thought
could
of the
be.
drone, but I never thought of the drone angle.
Right. And neither
It-
did I. It was somebody else's video that pointed the drone imprint on the backpack out to me. And that's when I started thinking about, does it leave electronic evidence? And is that antenna part of a drone system? You know, if he's got the device to operate the drone in his jacket pocket, that means he's trying to use that on the fly quickly. Keep the remote handy and be able to snatch the drone out of the bag quickly, and vice versa. There's, like I said, there's so many things in detail, and I can't really like, there's other parts of the case that I could do this same thing with, but I can't think of it on my own right now. But if you start talking about another part of the case, I can chime right in with some other stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right. John, I'm going to ask if you can share, what do you do? What's your background? What do you do? I love getting to
Automotive.
know the people.
Automotive.
Automotive.
Yeah, diagnostics, electronics, air condition, automotive for most of my life. That's been my livelihood. But I've also dabbled in welding and plumbing and a lot of blue collar trade craft type stuff. And then I've got family and friends, law enforcement related. I know people that work at places like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Ingalls Shipbuilding. So I don't have in depth knowledge in a lot of ways, but I have a little bit from a lot of places.
John, you got some fans in the chat, man. They're like, "You go, boy."
Well, thank y'all.
Across more intelligent than Opie.
Hey, look, I don't know if I think the community will agree. I say we run John for sheriff of Pima County and get him elected, and we'll get the case solved.
I don't have a broom in the dustpan that big. That place is a mess. I think the next three people to slide into that position are just going to be scapegoats for a big mess.
Yeah, you're right.
I've seen a similar account here local to home in another town. One little hop over where chief of police has had a turnover rate unlike most other cities.
Yeah.
And most of it really, I think, lies within the city council controlling a lot of things that the chief is stuck with dealing with, and the chief, that position just keeps getting scapegoated because of that.
John, talking about leaders and positions in politics, you know what? And Rich, you and I, we've talked about this. You know a lot of things have me shaking my head with this Guthrie case, but where is the governor of Arizona? Where's the attorney general of Arizona? And where's the mayor? We've not heard from any of those leaders in this case.
The Wizard of Oz stays behind a curtain, especially when they're embarrassed.
There you go.
That's a good way of putting it.
There you go. That's a good point, my brother. And they have a recall effort going on. That's happening. They have I'm going to call it the county commission. It may be another name, John, but Rich, they have they've sent the sheriff a demand letter demanding 3 or 4 or 5 things from the sheriff. One being the budget, an update on the Nancy Guthrie case, and I think there's a couple other missing persons cases that they're concerned about that haven't been solved. So he sort of is being called to the carpet.
Yeah.
What would our governor do of the state of Florida?
I'm very partial to our attorney general. Known that guy for a while. If our attorney general was the attorney general in that state, this wouldn't be happening. It wouldn't be happening. It would be bye-bye.
I can tell you this based on just running my thumbs over TikTok. If this would have happened in Polk County, they'd have run them over with a car and found them already.
That's right. Grady Judd doesn't play.
No, he doesn't.
None of those guys play down there.
Yeah. Why'd y'all put so much lead in them? Because that's all we had.
They ran out of
Yes,
bullets.
we've seen that before, actually.
Yeah.
John, I pray that you're following us now so we
Oh,
can stay connected.
I've been following you for a little bit now. Ran across you a couple weeks ago, I think, and I clicked on follow, and I try to catch you every time I can.
If you would be so kind, would you send me a message?
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to pick your brain a couple of other issues and a couple
Okay.
other matters. And one is, Rich, there's a case that I'm looking into. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but it has to do with someone sabotaging a GPS on a car, trying to get someone arrested. So they're essentially trying to fabricate evidence through a black box on a car. John, I want to pick your mind on that case. I'll
Gotcha.
tell you what it's about when I message you.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll have to tell
I
me about
appreciate
that
you,
on
brother. It took us a couple of days to get you up, man, but you got it.
He sounds smarter than the leaders over there, doesn't he? A lot
Yeah,
smarter.
yeah, yeah, guys.
You know,
Give it up.
I might have a little bit of an advantage in the sense that I'm able to free think, and I don't have politics and other such pressures swaying me to focus on other things. You know, a lot of times we don't get to see what the cause of people's actions are. So I
But
try not to
politics should go out
judge.
the window in a case like that when it's an elderly lady that's on heart meds and her life is on the line. Politics should be the last thing going through his mind, honestly.
Absolutely. One thing I'll say in reference to the beginning of that investigation, you know, it's already well known that they treated it like a missing elderly person for quite some time. How long exactly, I don't know. But when Pima County finally realized they were trampling on a crime scene, they should have stopped dead in their tracks, called in state police, and had them come in and start taking over everything, deposing everybody, getting statements from everybody. Everybody should have, if they didn't have their body cameras on, turn them on and start retracing your steps and get out of there and preserve as much as you can. And I just don't understand why that didn't happen. It's just like they were just too quick to try to cover up mistakes, and it just made it worse.
You know, somebody in the chat may prove me wrong. I don't think I'm wrong in this. And John, that's another thing. We've got some good investigators in this chat. You guys, you included, John, are amazing in terms of sleuthing, right?
Yeah,
But
thank you.
here's my point, Johnny. As far as I know, that front door mat is still hanging out in front of the door
It is.
That's my
at
pet
Nancy's
peeve.
home.
It is still there to this day.
I mean, what in goodness night is going on?
I don't understand it. I mean, I know this might be reaching, and it might not be handy right now, but if they would have simply collected that mat and preserved it, they could have just thrown it in lockup, and come the day, they might put their hands on somebody they think is a suspect. Maybe they find a little piece of sawdust that came from some wood that only could have come from the property of the suspect or something like that, you know, just anything. No reason to not take it as evidence. Even after, you know, even if 10 other people had stepped on it, you know, law enforcement, it doesn't matter. They should have collected it. I just don't understand why they didn't.
I mean, you've got hairs, fibers, sawdust, a rock or sand that someone could have picked up and deposited on. The list, Rich Brown, would be endless as to what could be on that floor mat. But you know what? We'll never know now.
Right. Yeah, and you leave it
That's
out
my
there
big
for
pet peeve.
and you leave it out there for over 2 months, and you know, weather and insects and reptiles and whatever have their way with it. Now it's probably pointless.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's worthless at this point.
Well, it is. I mean, the pool guy's been there, the pizza delivery guy's been there, the satellite TV repair guy's been there. Um, the
and multiple,
mainstream media has been all over that property. I mean, God, it's just
yeah. And then just some nosy onlookers taking a few steps on. You know, you never know how far people walk into a place when nobody's looking. Um, And that talking about this makes me think of another thing that I had. It's so hard to convey a thought in chat because there's just not enough room for your text characters to finish a thought, and so all you end up doing is throwing up enough of a sentence to create confusion. But I've always wondered, once it was revealed that the droplets outside were also inside the front door, it would lead you to think that, okay, they had that security door open at some point. So
Yeah.
if you have access to the inside of the house and you can in fact unlock that security door, why would you ever walk in front of that camera when you can just reach out the front door and take it without putting yourself on film?
I agree. And I mean, I've heard people, and I'm not knocking other creators on here. I mean, God love them. I don't know how much experience they have, but you don't want to chastise people. But here's the deal. Got a lot of people saying, well, she was taken out the back door because it was propped open. What do? Take her out of the back door and prop her up on the front porch where the red shiny stuff came out of her body? I mean, that makes no
Right.
dadgum sense. I'm a hillbilly from West Virginia originally, John, and that dog don't hunt.
No, sir, it doesn't.
So,
The only
all right.
the only other way that would make any sense, and you would think that if this were true, they would have announced it to the public, but maybe not, because I can't pretend to know their strategies. They hold back evidence where they feel necessary. But I've often wondered if any of that red evidence out there on the porch could have been from like a prior injury, from like a cactus prick or something like that, and maybe it was old, and maybe they determined that it was aged, and maybe that's why they weren't concerned with the front door mat. Maybe they determined that stuff was old evidence from another time. Uh, but it wouldn't be my first thought when discovering a crime scene. I would go ahead and collect all that just in case.
Well,
Because I don't know how long it takes to test that.
I, listen to Rick. I mean, that guy's a career homicide guy, right? I mean, he knows his business, and Rick will tell you that once you enter that crime scene, it's their crime scene, and they're going to take everything pertinent one time. They're not going to come back a half a dozen times. They're not going to release it prematurely. They're going to, if it takes them one day or 1 month, they're going to process that crime scene. And I don't know. I mean, John, they dropped the ball.
Yeah, they did. The sole occupant of that home is gone, missing. Who needed to get back in there so fast, so bad that they released it so early? In my opinion, it could still be taped off to this day.
It's still empty as far as we know. I don't think anyone's been there.
No reason to release it. What was the rush? It's just adding insult to injury.
Now we're going to bring Miss Mia up, but brother, please send me a message. I want to pick your brain and your mind on this case to see what your take is on it.
Sent you a message that just said hello with a wavy hand.
Bless you, man. I appreciate you, brother. Rich, we have some incredible people, right? Here's another one.
John, I love you.
Listen, you got fans, John. Hey, mama, how you doing?
John, I'm in love with you.
Thank you so much.
You remind me of my husband that passed away. He was into electronics and automobiles and all that stuff.
Oh.
Wow.
So you're doing, I think they can pick your brain. I think they'll do good.
Well, I hope to be of some help.
I think you will. I think you will. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see you using John down the road on some of these other cases. I mean, we need someone that knows electronics and vehicles. I mean,
yeah.
John, stand by.
Absolutely will do. I'll be around as often as I can.
Thank you. We're grateful for you, John, and thank God you came up tonight. So, Rich, what do you have to say to John? I mean, he's an incredible guy too.
He's gonna be great to use in the future on other cases, just because of his knowledge, and be a great person to pick your brain. You think like a seasoned investigator. I'll be honest.
Guys, hold on for next 20 seconds, please. I don't ask a lot of you guys. The next 20 minutes, light this chat up with the blue hearts for John. I want to show John our appreciation. If you can, for the next 20 seconds, blue hearts for John.
John's
John, thank
great.
you, thank you, thank you, and we'll get you back on. I promise.
Okay, good deal. And I thank all of
I
y'all.
salute you, my brother.
Same here.
Thank you. All right, bye.
Yeah, I think that one is a winner.
Hey, we got a whole bunch of winners in that community, right, Mia?
Yeah, yeah.
So where are you from?
Oh, I'm from South Carolina,
Okay.
right at the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hotter than heck over here now. But yeah, I just was wondering about our sheriff there. I think he covered up some things. That's what I think. I think there's more to it.
Rich, chime in on that one. I'm going to let you handle that one. That's a tough one.
It's a tough one, honestly. I just think certain people shouldn't be in leadership positions because of their egos. And honestly, just from what I watched on where he would make a statement that he probably shouldn't have, and then turn around the next day and make the exact opposite statement. I'll give you an example. He came out and said, nobody needs to worry about a thing in this neighborhood. How do you come out and make that statement? You don't, according to him, you have no clue who did it. You can't do that. You can't tell the whole neighborhood, hey, relax, leave your doors unlocked. You know?
And maybe he don't, but he comes off like that. And I just think, I'm wrapping my brains over this every day. I'm watching it on TV to see if I can find something new. I'm no genius at like you guys with investigating and all that. I had a uncle that was an inspector, and I have friends in the police force and all that. But I give you a lot of credit because it's a hard job. I'll tell you, you guys are wonderful, wonderful, every single one. There may be some bad, yeah, but the most of you are all great, and you do your jobs well. And they're sad for you to go, Jamie. And Richard, are you still working?
No, I'm actually retired.
Oh, good for you. Well, see, you deserve it. You probably got trigger fingers hurting like crazy. I know I had a friend that he had the arthritis in one of his fingers that was so bad. I thought, oh my Lord. But, that's all I really, racking my brains on this sheriff. I don't know if I'm saying more than I should, or maybe I'm just overreacting. But I'll tell you, I don't know. Something's going to come of that, I think. But he's not working. He's not
not
working.
right.
He's not working, is he?
The sheriff?
Yeah.
Good question.
I thought they outed him out.
No, he's
They're
still
trying
there.
to, I think.
Oh, he's still there. Oh boy.
I think they're trying to vote him out. He's still there.
Yeah. Oh well.
Listen, Mama Mia, I gotta ask. You ready we're friends now, right? We're friends? We're besties?
Okay.
I want to know everything I can, just so I can know. We want to know you guys too. Just briefly, what's your background?
My background, I was teaching for a little while, and before that, I was in nursing. I got done with that when the AIDS came out in New York because they were getting crazy with the nurses and sticking them with the needles. And I couldn't take it anymore where I was. So I was into teaching. I was in pre-K, and then I did the high school alternative children, which I really loved, because if you stand your ground with them, they're more apt to listen to you. And I used to reward them too, because you got to reward too. It's a big thing with me to reward children for doing good, not only bad. And I don't like even to use the word bad with the children. Because really there is no bad child. It comes from other things, background, where they are and everything. So, you know, and now I'm retired after I had a bout with cancer. I just didn't want to any more work. I couldn't do a lot of things. So, now I'm taking it easy and I'm being lazy.
You've earned
I
it.
do my gar- I do my gardening. I love my garden. So I'm getting ready to plant flowers. Me and my daughter had gone out and got some flowers and stuff like that, and I'm going to be planting tomorrow.
Hey, can Rich and I adopt you as like our long distance grandma?
Well, yes, yes.
There we go, Rich. We
Actually, I don't know how old you are, but I'm not afraid to say I'm 71 years old,
bless you.
and you know, as long as I keep going, I'm surprised I'm still here. Of all that I've had, I'm surprised I'm still here. Thank the good Lord.
Yes. Amen on that one.
He's not done with me yet. He's going to put me in a position where I'm going to have to say yes.
I like that. A woman of
Yeah.
faith.
What are you going to do? He's the only one that'll put us forth,
That's right. That's right.
He solves it all. So that's where I lay my hands with the Nancy Guthrie case too, and say, please, Lord, let them just find her, no matter what. If it's ashes to body.
Yeah, exactly. It was just the family needs some closure, right? We hope
Yeah,
she's
that's it.
alive and well, but they just need closure.
I know they do. They do. So, and I
Well,
don't think the family had anything to do with it. I really don't.
let's pray they
Just
don't.
devastating.
Let's
Yeah, I
pray.
hope not. I hope not. Well, I love you guys. I love to chat, and this is the first time I'm here, and I all of a sudden, oh, what are they saying? Nancy Guthrie. Oh, wow.
Listen, I don't know if you're watching the chat, but you're like a star. You're a star. They love you.
Oh, they love me already? Oh,
Hey,
mamma mia.
you
Well, I
know,
guess
Now, are
I
you
have to.
Italian? I take
Yes,
it.
I guess I'm going to have to put the sauce and the big pan of sauce and meatballs.
That's
And
what I
then I'm
wanted to
going to
ask
have
you
to
about.
say, come on,
Do you put sugar in your spaghetti sauce?
I never use sugar. I use basil, sweet basil. Who puts the sugar?
Uh,
A
I don't
little
know.
bit of wine.
I have a lot of people that like my spaghetti sauce.
yeah,
You
yeah, but
got to put,
Mia, he has me putting sugar in my spaghetti now.
no,
Yeah, it's
It's
a
good, isn't it?
no.
don't put the wine, the little bit of wine in it, about a quarter cup of wine. Chop
I
up
put the
your
heat in it too.
fresh basil and
I use
fresh
basil.
parsley. Not the crushed dry you get in the stores. Fresh. There's
Uh-oh,
a
she's
big
gonna school
difference.
me.
And then
I'm
you
gonna put it in
gotta
talk.
fry your garlic and your onion with the
Have
meatballs
to have garlic and onion. Yep.
and then take the garlic and the onion and put it in your sauce and that'll flavor it some more.
Yep.
Kabish?
How long do you typically simmer your spaghetti sauce for?
A whole day.
See, there you go. That's what I do the same thing. But I put a little heat in it too with the sugar to counteract the sugar.
You put what? The no sugar.
A little heat. I put some red pepper in there as well to
Don't
counteract
put
the
the
sugar.
sugar. Don't put the sugar.
No
I'm
sugar.
telling you. A
Even the
quarter
chat saying
cup of
no
sweet
sugar.
wine. Put the
You
wine
guys
and put,
can't say no until you try it. It's really good. Everybody loves my spaghetti sauce.
well, yeah, I'm sure it's good. But the
It's
sugar you don't need.
Yeah, it's not good for you, but it's good.
You don't want to argue with an Italian. What the
I
heck?
know. I was a little scared to bring it up to you, but I also put Italian sausage in my
Oh,
spaghetti
see, a
sauce.
lot of people put sugar in.
Yeah.
Little garlic. Yeah.
yeah. There's a
Bitter
lot of sugar.
tart. Too
A
much
lot of people putting sugar in there. What I
No,
mean,
no,
Rich,
no.
you may have to get with Mia and trade some recipes because Rich is a
I
very
know.
good cook.
Who is?
Well, then, Rich,
You,
where are you from?
Well, I as a kid, I grew up in Montgomery, Alabama, but then I lived in Florida from like 13 years old on. So,
So you're in Florida?
yeah, I pretty much lived most of my life in Florida.
Well, someday if I'm up that way, I'll have to look you up, and I'll come down and we'll make sauce. You make yours, and I'll make mine.
I'll be
Yeah,
the
that would be
tester.
fun.
And
That
Jamie,
would be
yeah, you
fun.
gotta come.
I'll be the tester.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
go out to the streets and ask who likes what. Yeah.
hey Mia,
I might do
please
the red
follow us
wine.
so we can keep in touch. If you're not following us, please follow us. We
Oh no, I
the
foul.
community
I just
loves you.
gotta get to follow Richard.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love you guys. Your
Make sure
we
you
love
give
you
me
guys
your
too.
recipe on that.
personality is great for officers. Some of them are like stick in the muds and stuff, but
Yeah,
your personalities
yeah.
are great.
You know,
We still
Rich
So
wears
talk.
a wig once in a while.
yeah, I've seen you wear your wig.
Ooh.
I'll have to wear mine.
Lord.
Oh, jeez.
Well, my dear,
Oh,
we are grateful that you found us. Number one, number two, thank you for finding us.
oh,
And
you're welcome.
you've got to share, Rich. You've got to get some recipe. You got to get that recipe, man.
Oh, I'm gonna work her over on that spaghetti sauce because I want to try her recipe.
Yeah. Well, we'll get on together and you show your stove and I'll show my stove and we'll cook together.
All righty, sounds like a
I
plan.
love this lady. She's hey, God bless you, sister. We appreciate you.
Oh, bless you
Yeah, thank
guys. I
you.
love it. I'm going to stay on till you get off.
Okay.
Oh, you just wanted to get off a long time ago.
Now we're going to go to one more. Brian's up.
Oh
Hey,
my.
just stay in the box. Hold on. Hey, Brian.
To her, she's character.
Let me tell you something. I think she can make some spaghetti sauce that will probably blow our minds.
Yeah, like she said, put the what was that again? The basil, sweet basil.
Yeah, sweet basil.
Yeah, if you're gonna put sugar, put brown sugar.
Well,
And
some people put cinnamon. You could put a little
yeah,
cinnamon.
that's true. Or a little both. Just back off on the contents a little bit.
Well, I like the
Well,
wine part. She puts wine in her sauce.
that's what I
Yeah,
was
that
going to
is
say. The
good.
wine
Yeah,
is
well, there
good.
you go. Keep it Italian. I wanted to come up to ask a question about the Guthrie case. Um, I just wonder if there's been any prior criminal activity in that area to this. Has there been any reports of any kind of people walking around? I heard one thing about some guy that was in the area in another house, but I don't know. I just, I'm trying to figure out. I don't even think this guy's probably still alive by now that was at the door, ring, ring door. Uh,
Right.
yeah, I think this thing has gotten so high profile that um, it's whoever's involved. There's more than one. I figure three, at least two, and I think that since he's the front man showing his whatever part of his face he showed, they think he's probably a risk, and he's not with us anymore. That's my belief.
I
Uh,
think that's very possible. And real quick, Southern Girl, I'm with you. I'm like Googling right now to see if there are any Italian restaurants open at Cocoa Beach. I can get some spaghetti. Thanks a lot, guys.
That's my
yeah,
fault. I had to talk to her about that.
Now, Brian, I don't know. I mean, you know, here's the deal. There's an old saying: whoever talks first gets the deal, right?
that's right.
I think there are more than two people. I think there are three.
Yeah,
Rich, I mean,
exactly what I thought.
we've done these cases. If you're the weak link and you're about ready to spill the beans, what are you going to do? You're going to take him out in the woods and have a little night
Yeah.
party.
My
So,
thing
Brian, you may
is
not
you
be
still
way
have
off.
1.25 million reasons to turn somebody in. So that's got to be hanging over their heads. That would make me nervous because that's not chump change.
Yeah, if nothing else, I would have said when you put those weeds up to that doorbell, you got to go now. Yeah, you're looking too unprofessional. They think he'd probably be a weak link anyway. He was put up to that by somebody else that didn't want to show their face.
Yep, that's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
and
Hey, Brian, real quick, can I
yeah,
have a minute?
yeah,
Guys,
sure.
I just got a text message, guys. I need some help. We are 14 shares away of 100 shares. I've never had 100 shares, I don't think, on any live that I've ever done. Guys, can we share this 15 more times, 16 more times to get that 100 shares? OMG. Mia, did you hear that? We almost have 100 shares.
Oh, that's good.
So if you can, guys, share this thing out to 15, 16, 17 people so we can hit that. Rich, we've never had 100 shares, I don't think. My goodness, that's like...
Oh, people are reposting.
Brian, I'm sorry. We had a little celebration. Guys, thank you for sharing this thing out. Brian, I don't think you're too far off. Rich, what do you think?
That could be. I mean, think about it. If you were a part of that right now, you're going to be scared that you're going to get caught, especially with that reward sitting out there. So you might take him out. That's not a bad hypothesis.
That would buy a lot of Mia's spaghetti sauce, that reward.
All right.
Yeah.
No, it's I think that's a good point, Brian. I mean, here's the deal. And guys, if it's the first time on here, and I think the community can back me up on this, Rich, and I know you will. We don't. No one on the panel knows it all. We don't know it all, right? There's stuff in the case that we're not privy to, and there is literally no wrong answer from any of you guys in the community. And the people that have been here forever, they know that. Brian, you're one of the old guys, right? You've been here for a long time. Rich, that's the best thing about this channel, because we have so many smart people. We have so many amazing thoughts and opinions. I'll say it again. Load them up on a jet. Let's fly them to Pima County and solve the case.
To all the cold cases throughout the country.
I'm telling you, we have the smartest people. Brian, you've been here almost day one. We have the smartest people on TikTok. I believe you'll agree.
Yeah, we do.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Opinions and everything everybody shared and pull this together. And your show, like the way you talk and the way you put things out there, real professional. And then you got your team with you, and Rich, and what's the other man's name? Steven?
Steve.
Yeah.
And we have Rick.
Yeah. And the guy was just on, John. He put some stuff out there.
I was very impressed, John.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. You guys are amazing in terms of your cyber sleuthing, and you're able to discern stuff so quickly, and common sense. So, Brian, we got to get common sense hats.
Right.
Because we are the common sense.
We ride at dawn.
Right. We ride at dawn.
That's right.
Yeah.
We ride at dawn. I like that.
I would love to find out what's the end game on this whole thing. I mean, this has gotten me more interested in this with her, because being America's grandma, America's mom, this kind of thing. And she didn't deserve to go out like that at all. And it's terrible that at her age that she had to see something like that pass through her life like that.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
It wasn't on her radar, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I just, we pray every night that this case and these other cases, there's so many cases that are not solved, but this one, I think it's touched us all, Rich, because
Yeah.
it's our grandma, right? It's America's grandmother, and
Yeah.
Yep.
these a lot of these cases that aren't in the public eye, they don't have any voices, right? They don't get the media attention. So that's kind of why I like this crowd. We talk about other cases, and Brian, you've been here long enough. We kind of share it as much as we can on other stuff. So we've got to do better, and we've got to do more.
And we always progress in thoughts afterwards and try to figure out things that we hadn't probably thought about before and to bring up.
Yeah, that's true.
And
What about this
it's,
guy, Jim? You ever see him on TV? He's right now trying to investigate all other areas. And now I guess they're sending out rescue parties near the border, as far as I know. Have you heard anything or no?
No,
No.
no, man.
Well, if you get on not TikTok, if you get on what do you call it?
YouTube.
YouTube. Thank you. YouTube. They have these channels on there, and
Yes.
there's this
Okay. Okay.
one
Yes,
guy,
ma'am. Mm-hmm.
yeah, Jim, and he noticed the pants, and I guess, the shirt, and it's exactly of what she was wearing in one of the pictures with Nancy, not Nancy, Savannah.
this evidence they're finding has been put out there on the after the fact. I wonder about that. There
You
was
think
talking.
so?
Yeah, well, I mean, what's this thing recently? I don't know if you heard or not about the JLR thing
Oh yeah, yeah.
and trying to get views on YouTube and this kind of thing. I'm not saying that this is, they're talking about it. And
Well, him, I don't know. I think he's a little, just trying to get views is what he's
right,
trying to do. But
right.
this Jim guy is really going out there. Now, this JLR, he just stays in front of the house, and he saw the son-in-law through the window and saying, what's he doing there? Well, he has every right to be there. It's his mother-in-law's house.
Yeah.
Maybe
Real
he's
quick.
cleaning up stuff.
Pardon the interruption, but Sweet Carolina. Caroline, I'm sorry. She said it's called Exploring with Jim, and that he
Yes,
lives in Northern California. So a lot of people watch that.
Yeah,
yeah,
I see her in the chat.
yeah. He's really into this.
Yeah, he takes a motorcycle across the desert. Wow, I'm gonna have to follow that guy, Rich. Maybe we should
Yeah,
start something similar.
I know. He's gone everywhere, everywhere.
But if we go, I want to take the People's Crime Network family with us. We ride at dawn.
It would be fun. Pick a case and then everybody try to
Yeah,
investigate it.
yeah.
And then if we have to, go there and see what we can dig up. I think that would be better than even having like a big conference.
What you need is some fresh minds out there, people that don't get drowned in cases, and people that's got a lot of thought process that they can push out there and come up with different ideals and
Now,
things.
what about, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're okay.
What about Etten?
Uh, Brian Etten,
Yeah,
I can't
he
pronounce
found
it.
tunnels,
Yeah,
going under near there.
yeah.
Now, see, that's another aspect there.
But you're not talking about the wash, are you?
No,
You're
not the
just talking
wash.
about, yeah, separate tunnels
It's
from,
right. Yup, it's a whole different thing. The
yeah,
tunnels, and
We're
they
right.
already
go
saying you could cook,
right
Mamma
to
Mia.
Mexico, I guess. So
Yeah,
I don't know. There's
I
so
still
much.
say there's some kind of Mexico theory to what's been going on here. Uh, I really do. The one in Sonora, the guy that put out the notes, this all may be fabrication, but somebody's focusing in on, I believe, on Savannah, because every time she goes back to work, it seems like there's a note.
Yeah, well, that's somebody, I think, being foolish.
Yeah,
I think they're just egging things on.
it could be.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but
all
that's why
right,
we talk about it.
Mama Mia, we
Yes, honey.
thank you.
Oh,
I'm
you're
waiting.
welcome.
I'll send you my address off air, and you can send me that pot of spaghetti sauce. I can make my own pasta. But no,
Sure.
thank you. We're glad you came up, and I appreciate it.
Oh, it's wonderful to talk to you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be around, you
Have a
know.
blessed night, dear.
Oh, you too. Thank you so
Nice meeting
much.
Bye,
you.
dear.
Bye bye.
Bye. I think she's gonna be our recipe person, maybe.
There you
No,
go.
Brian, I don't know. I mean, this thing's all over the map. I still say, and I don't, we're going to get off here 30 minutes ago, but let me say one more thing, Brian. Rich, I don't know if you agree with this. I I still hold on to some connection in Mexico. I mean, I just believe that there's. I'm not saying she's in Mexico, but I think there's a out of country connection. I can't get over that until it's proved that it doesn't work.
That's
Yeah, you
true.
said that in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that people that's involved in this, if they turn out to be of that descent to go into Mexico, um, they could hide there real easy and not have to worry about somebody looking, for them to look over their shoulder as much. But yeah, it just seems like it keeps coming up and it's being involved in the conversations. There's something to it, I believe.
I just unless until it's proven, until I'm 100% shown that it isn't connected to somebody in Mexico, that's going to be in my right hand, and then it's going to be family, friends, and associates in my left hand,
Right.
and I will hold. Rich, I've said this, and we've kind of agreed and disagreed. I'm going to tell you that I think there are at least three people that are involved in this conspiracy. Um,
I've said that
I
all
can't get
along.
I can't get the Mexican thing out of my mind. I mean, it's tied to Mexico. The latest fourth letter that Harvey Levin received at TMZ alluded that, hey, that was the second letter from this guy, right, or this person with
Yep.
that Mexico connection. So prove me wrong. Prove me
The
wrong.
term, when they used the term $6 million in this ransom at first, remember they had said six or something like 6 million USD. They didn't come out and say dollars.
Correct.
That sounds like more of a
Yep.
foreign entity,
Yep. That's a good point.
something.
That's a good find.
Yeah. But anyhow, I'm going to let y'all have it. I'm going to get out of here, and I know you're fixing to wrap up, so I'm going to jump off here.
Well, you'll always be a brother from another mother, my man, and we're
All right.
grateful. Rich, Brian's one of the old guys. He's been here forever.
Have a good one, Brian.
Thank you very much. Well, you can
Thank you,
take it
brother.
off if you want to.
All right, man. Thank you, Brian.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Rich. I don't know. I want you to tell me what I'm thinking about. What I'm about to say about this. You
What
got
are
to read
you
my
about
mind.
to say? Hold
Every
on.
time we end these things, I'm what? Amazed.
You're amazed at how intelligent everybody else is
Yeah, yeah.
in this room. And I agree. And I told you
Just
this in
blows
the
my
beginning.
mind.
Yep. I told you this in the beginning when you were asking me to do this show with you. I wasn't really that interested in it. And what did I tell you? The first night I told you, wow, these people are super smart. They come up with some great ideas that I've never thought of. And it makes it very interesting for us. to hear your point of view, y'all's point of view, because y'all come up with some ideas that I've never even thought of, but they're great ideas. So,
no, it's just amazing.
I like it.
Kathy Lynn, you're 100% right. Best live on TikTok, and I don't like saying that, Rich. The community, the People's
The
Crime
best
Network,
community.
they're the best on TikTok. It's not us. It's the People's Crime Network, and it's just a cohesion group of people. I get pretty jazzed up about this stuff, and they're just amazing people. I will never be able to give the people enough credit.
Well, they're like family now. I mean, this
Yeah.
whole group is like family.
Yeah.
Interesting group too.
Yeah, I think we need to put them on a private flight and let's ride it. Let's fly it, Don. Not ride. Let's fly. All right, Rich. We went over. We were going to cut this thing off at 10. We ended up going until 11. But
I see that.
Probably one of the best lives we've seen in a while. They keep getting better. They just get better and better and better.
Yep, I totally agree. Totally agree. Let's go solve a case with them. All of us get together and
It may be coming, man. It may be coming. Wait a minute. Tina had something here. When I see question marks, I miss something. Tina, I'm so sorry. Tina, can you repost whatever the question marks were for? If it was about Martinez, I think I seen that. I forgot to mention it. Are you talking about the last name of Martinez? Yeah. Google the name Martinez. I don't want Tina. I don't want to say a lot about that because I how do I say this? There's some information. I didn't even want to. I wasn't going to cover this. There's some information floating around that 3 individuals may be connected to this thing. And Tina, I really don't want to go a lot into that because of liable reasons. When you start naming names, I see what you're saying there. So I want to kind of stay away from naming names. But I saw what you're referring to a couple, 3 or 4 hours ago. I spoke with John JD, who's out there. Asked him about it, and he didn't have a lot to say about it. We all know the source of that information, JLR, and I'm not saying it's bad or not. I don't want to use the names, Rich, because of the liable thing. When you start throwing names out, it gets kind of weird in terms of the law. Some of the lawyers don't like that. So, Tina, respectfully, I got what you said, and please understand, I'm not a big chicken, you know what, but I just want to stay away from the names. But anyone can Google the name Martinez. Ah.
Great way of putting that.
I need a drink after that one.
Yeah, that was good.
And Tina, I hope you're okay with the way I answer that. And in no way, shape, or form am I trying to discredit that because it may be a home run, Rich, in this thing. What Tina's talking about, and there's a lot. You're right, Tina. Let's see how that plays out tomorrow, Tina, and maybe we can get up and talk about it. I kind of like to see it play out a little bit before we start, but there's a lot of information on that topic. And I'm talking encrypted because I want to steer away from the liable issue. Thank you, Tina. I'm so glad. We're still friends. Sisters from another mother. Rich, probably one of the better lives we've had in a while.
Yeah, I really enjoyed tonight. That's time flew by because we didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Didn't even realize it. And I was tired when I came on.
I was a little, yep. We had a full day
and
here.
Then you were trying to steal my recipe. I wasn't
trying to steal your recipe.
You said, make sure you send me the recipe. And She's going to send it to me first because I've been solving it.
Let me tell you, Mama Mia's going to whip you in shape, sugar boy.
I know. She didn't like that, did she? She was like, sugar? I was going to go run and hide. I was like, why'd I even bring that up? We're going to have some good cooking battles, I think.
Yeah, I think you and her are going to be besties because you like to cook and you can cook. All right,
Yeah,
Coco, thank you so much. I know it's been 3 hours and 15 minutes. That's a pretty long life. But more importantly, Rich, we got to congratulate the community, the people at the People's Crime Network. They make the community, and it's just freaking amazing.
I was got somebody else in there. This
So,
Italian
guys, we
doesn't like
appreciate
sugar
you.
either.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Hey, maybe the next time we go live, can we play with the sugars in the spaghetti sauce? Let's do a poll the next time we go live. Do you put sugar in or do you not put sugar in? Because Rich,
We do need to do a poll because I'm going to tell you what, my kids love my spaghetti sauce.
You have me now putting sugar in my spaghetti sauce.
It's addicting, isn't it?
And I know my wife's watching, and
sugar,
she's going to be like, what?
Look, no! Exclamation! Exclamation! You put a little heat in with it. It counteracts each other.
This is probably one of the most objectionable conversations we've had. People are pretty split down the middle on this. And I see that brown sugar. They're saying brown sugar.
I know. I've seen that. I'm going to try that. Somebody puts a carrot in there. Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Look, Alondra puts
I put oregano on my sauce too. I know she was big on the basil. I do use basil as well, but I also use oregano.
Alondra puts sugar in her spaghetti sauce too.
Basil and wine.
Now, I'm going to throw something in the mix before we go. We could. I don't want to be here all night. My wife, Spanish. Bro, let me tell you something. Mama Mia, if you're still here, I'll put my wife up against both of you. She makes that spaghetti sauce the Spanish way. Well, actually, it's the Puerto Rican way. Let me tell you, Rich, it's some good spaghetti sauce, the way they make it.
Well, no, you know I love Spanish cooking, so
that's one of my favorites. She can put it on there. I don't know. I've always said that Rich needs a cooking show. You do a lot of cooking. You do all the cooking.
Yeah, I love to cook. I love to smoke food.
All right, guys. Rich, thank you. We'll get Steve better. He'll be back on the next live show. And guys, I just want to appeal to you guys. I can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough. We're grateful, humbled. It's darn humbling to come in here and look at some of the numbers. And you guys are doing the numbers. It's not me. It's Rich. It's you guys. If it wasn't for you, none of this would happen. So good night. Be well. Be safe. Rich, good night.
Good night.
Let us know what you cook tomorrow. And guys, much love to you. Thank you for being here and present. And we'll see you on the next live. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night.